Welcome to Strengthening You Mind Body Advocacy. Thank you all so much for joining us on this evening. We are super excited to be here with you. We have an amazing show. Well, not show, but we have an amazing workshop for you. We have 4 presenters that are going to be absolutely phenomenal. And, as I was thinking about this workshop, it's really all about self-care, to be perfectly honest, because we're going to be talking about meeting your emotional needs, your physical needs, and your mental wellness, all in one workshop. So again, welcome to Strengthening You, Mind, Body, and Advocacy. We hope that you're not only just inspired, motivated, and empowered, but you will also get the tools you need to live a healthy and a well life, because we want to live healthy and well. So welcome. We're going to get this workshop started with our very first presenter, and that's going to be Miss Kenya Boyd. We are going to be doing a mindful presentation, and it is going to be absolutely amazing. So you guys sit back. We hope you have your notepads and your pens and you're taking notes, because there's going to be some great information, some tools, and resources that will be given to you on tonight to help you live a healthy and a well life. Let's welcome Kenya onto the stage. Hey, Kenya, how are you?
Hey, good morning. I'm doing well. How are you, Jackie?
I'm doing well. Oh, that's right. It's morning time for you, and it's evening time for us.
Yes,
Here.
yes.
So thank you so much, guys. If y'all missed this past October of 2021, Kenya was one of our presenters, and she did an amazing exercise that she did with us to get us going and get our minds all together and pulled in to get ready to receive this amazing information. So I am going to turn it on over to Kenya.
Hi. Again, thank you, Jackie. My name is Kenya, and I would like to welcome you to Strengthening You. This morning or this evening, I'm going to lead you into a short meditation that will hopefully help with just bringing you into the present moment, taking a minute to just relax and breathe, then also opening yourself up to receive the jewels, the gems, and the seeds that'll be planted by these lovely ladies. So, if you are comfortable in your seated position now, please stay there. If you need to adjust, if you need to find a place where your back is supported, that's perfectly fine. Or even if it's within your practice to just lay down, please get comfortable. I'd like to invite you to close your eyes or even just have your gaze going downward and slightly in front of you. And please bring your attention to your natural inhale and exhale. And let's check in with our bodies. Let's start with our muscles in our face. Notice if you maybe have your jaw clenched or your eyebrows raised. And allow yourself to release that tension. Maybe even allowing your jaw to just slightly fall open. Notice if your shoulders are up near your ears or maybe falling forward. And allow them to just relax and maybe roll back. Notice the rise of your chest as you inhale. and the lowering of your chest as you exhale. Notice if your belly is rising also, or if there's tightness. Maybe you're holding your belly in. Just allow it to relax. Let's bring our attention down to our legs and our feet. Are you holding tightness in your quads or in your calves? Are your toes crunched up in your shoes? Allow them to relax. Maybe wiggle your toes a little bit. And can we bring our attention back to our breath? And at this time, just have a slightly deeper inhale and a longer exhale. As we focus on our breath, it allows us to be in the present moment because our breath is always in the present moment. We're not thinking about what we need to do or what we should have done. We're just here together, taking in this moment. Now I invite you to envision the color yellow. It could be a yellow item, just the color yellow of a lemon, of a crayon, of anything. Yellow helps us with identifying and feeling worth, confidence, and trusting within ourselves. So as you're thinking about this color, as you're envisioning it, I want to say a couple of words that maybe hopefully will resonate with you and empower you. I trust myself fully. I will not allow fear or doubt get in the way of what I'm here to do. I trust myself fully. I will not allow fear or doubt get in the way of what I am here to do. I trust myself fully. I will not allow fear or doubt get in the way of what I am here to do. I invite you to say those words silently to yourself. Or if it's within your comfort level, say them out loud. As we say these words, we say them with power. We give meaning to our words. And as we give meaning to our words, they empower us. Say words that are only there to benefit us in the way that we need to be benefited. So as you say these words, say them with confidence. Say them as though they are true. Even at this moment, if you don't believe that it's true, speak it into existence. Say it as though it is true. I trust myself fully. I will not allow fear or doubt get in the way of what I am here to do. Feel those words. Feel the joy that can overwhelm you as you say it. I trust myself fully. I will not allow fear or doubt get in the way of what I am here to do. I trust myself fully. I will not allow fear or doubt get in the way of what I'm here to do. Sometimes we have those moments where we're not sure. We're not sure what we can do, what we should do. This is when we bring ourselves back. We bring ourselves back to this moment and reassure ourselves through these words. And as we reassure ourselves, as we say these words, we begin to believe it. We feel it in our body, not just our mind. We feel it all the way throughout. And when you embody these words, when you feel them throughout your body, it resonates outward also. So people will approach you appropriately within those boundaries that you present. When you trust yourself, when you have confidence, when you love yourself, other people will do the same towards you. I trust myself. I will not allow fear or doubt get in the way of what I am here to do. I invite you to bring your awareness back to your breath. That's a slightly deeper inhale and longer exhale. I hope these words have encouraged you, have allowed you to embrace a little bit of strength and openness to the words that will be shared, the jewels, the gems, and the seeds of these ladies who to follow that will help you also advocate for yourself, take care of your body and your well-being, so that you know that you trust yourself fully and you will not allow fear or doubt get in the way of what you are here to do. As we close our meditation, I invite you to open up your eyes when you're ready and look around your environment, in your room, wherever you're sitting. Notice a couple of things, one or two things that you haven't noticed before. Let's bring ourselves back into this moment. Notice the beauty in this item, whether it's a plant, your reflection, the sunlight. Notice something different and appreciate the joy of it. Again, my name is Kenya, and I appreciate you allowing me to have this space with you and share this meditation. I look forward to seeing you later, and I hope you enjoy the workshop. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kenya. As you were doing the meditation and I was doing the breathing exercises, I was also thinking, that there are different forms of meditations that people, they do the breathing and affirmations and scriptures. And I know that really helps me when I'm doing my meditation, is meditating on the word, on the scriptures, on the Bible, and different scriptures come to mind that I just repeat over and over, just like what you were saying with not being fearful. There's so many scriptures that I can think of that talks about that, about the fear. And so that was so beautiful how you led us into that. And so I hope that you guys were doing the exercises and that you are ready to receive what we have for you on today. So again, Kenya, thank you so much. That was absolutely beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, guys, we are steady moving on. Our next presenter, she was with us as well this past October, and she was talking about advocating for yourself. She's going to be talking to us with part 2 of advocating for you. So, y'all, I hope you're ready for Dr. Cheri because she's getting ready to bring it. I know she is. I'm fixing to bring her on up on the stage. Hey, Dr. Cheri.
Hi, Jackie. How are you?
I am well. Good morning to you because I know it's morning time there for you as well.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
It is.
yes,
Good
yes.
morning indeed.
Well, again, thank you so much for being with us. We are so honored that you are here. And I'm not going to, keep talking and talking because you have something to say. So I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you so much, Jackie. And while you're backstage, if you can just share my PowerPoint presentation for all to see, I would appreciate that. Thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you and welcome. Thanks for spending time with us today. Kenya, I cannot begin to thank you for setting the stage and setting the mood for all of this. And I say that I trust myself fully and I will not allow fear and doubt to get in the way of what I am here to do. And I am here today to talk to you about advocating for me. And we're not being selfish when we're advocating for ourselves, but we are just taking care of ourselves, which is what this is all about. And without further ado, I'll move on. But with my shameless plug, Kenya, you look absolutely stunning in your savvy tee. Thank you. All right. So, as Jackie mentioned, back in October, we did have a session. And at that time, we discussed what exactly advocating was. And we talked about the different kinds of advocate that you can be and mainly focused on being an advocate for ourselves. So we talked about the barriers as far as advocating for ourselves because, nothing that we do comes easy, or not all things that we do are easy. So sometimes there are barriers to advocating for ourselves. In addition to that, we learned the various ways to say no. Sometimes people just do not or cannot accept an and sometimes it's very difficult for some of us. Not all of us are able to say no. Sometimes it's just difficult for some of us to say that. So we provided various ways as well for you to say no without hurting people's feelings, without being rude, with just being sensitive. Additionally, I led the charge for you to complete an advocacy action plan. But at that time, we did not have the opportunity for me to physically give you the plan or email it to you. So later today, I am going to share a QR code where you can utilize this advocacy action plan for yourself. Now, this one is a sample that I created, excuse me. And in that sample, I hit on a few things. What if I wanted to increase my meditation or a degree completion, more travel opportunities, or here we go again, saying no, learning to say no. So how you utilize this advocacy action plan is to deliberately consider what outcome that you would like to change or what you would like to advocate for. And if we look at meditation here, the current challenge noted here for this fictitious person was the morning routine impacts their time. So they didn't have time in the morning, or whatever it is that they're doing in the morning is probably impacting how they would meditate. So then what steps do you take to overcome that challenge? Okay, so there are some options. Wake up earlier, probably do a shorter meditation, meditate at night. There is no wrong or right way to meditate, and there is no wrong or right time to meditate. So it's all on what is important to you. So then, what's next? Develop an accountability system or support system, rather, that's going to help you reach that goal. You can have an accountability partner, and an accountability partner serves in many different ways. It does not have to be someone who does it with you. However, if in fact you do need to have someone who does it with you, you can meditate with a friend. Again, this is just all fictitious, nevertheless, these steps in being successful in the outcome. And then create a timeline for yourself. So, this is what we're going to do later. You will have time to get a copy of this so you can implement some outcomes and really map out a way to achieve them. All right, so in this session, you're going to receive advice from an expert. You will consider best practices when advocating for yourself, and you're going to learn to choose your battles. Because when we advocate for ourselves, it does not necessarily mean that the outcome that we're expecting is going to occur. Then again, we will have an advocacy action plan. And then I am going to encourage all of you to stay purple. And you wonder what staying purple is, but you will find out. Now, if we used our previous platform that we did before, which was Zoom or Facebook Live, you would be able to have a communication with me back and forth in reference to what's your why you're here today, why you want to advocate for yourself. But I do encourage you to write into the comments, whether it's on Jackie's live page or on our YouTube, and put in your comments there as to what's your why, and really focus on why is it or what is it that brings you here today to want to advocate for yourself. Whether it's your mindfulness and meditation, whether it's the nutrition, whether it's your mental health, what's your why? And I really want you to consider that why and work on it along with your advocacy action plan to really bring these things into fruition. Okay, now we're going to get some advice from our friend here, the one and only Dr. Maya Angelou. And you know, when Maya Angelou speaks, everybody listens. And I'd like us to take some time to really, really consider or really think about the information that she's sharing, which was priceless to her. This is information that she shared with her son at one point in time. So let's take a listen at Dr. Maya Angelou. And we know with technology, we do have to give it a moment. So just give us a moment for Dr. Maya Angelou to pop up as far as the video is concerned. And if it doesn't pop up, I think that you can see here that one of the quotes that I have taken from this message that she is sharing is that there is a place within you that you must keep inviolate. And what that means is there is something and there is somewhere inside of you that you cannot allow anyone to touch. You cannot allow, and you should not allow anyone to disrespect. So while we're waiting, and she may or may not come up, this is technology, and I'm okay with that. I would like to share with you my story of a time where I allowed this to occur and how it impacted me, because when I'm talking about being an advocate for yourself, you would think, or one would think, or make the assumption that because I can talk about it, I am someone who advocates for myself all the time, 24/7, 365, whatever situation that comes forth, I can advocate for myself. And sometimes that's just not true. It depends on the situation that you're dealing with. So, probably just a few years ago, I was working with an individual where we were on the same level. The individual was not in a higher role than I was. We were equal partners. And we had very, very much difficulties working with one another. And I can say, based on my opinion, that I thought that this person possibly was a narcissist. Okay, so we know when we're dealing with narcissists, there's nothing you can say or do to sometimes change their mind or prove to them or share with them or allow them to see when they're wrong. So this had been ongoing, and our supervisor at the time was just tired of it. She was absolutely just tired of it after one of these heated discussions that we had. And she said, I need you two to resolve this. I need you two to sit down and talk about it. And we did. We did. We spent some time, we talked about it. And what appeared to be resolution at the end, the individual asked me for a hug. I don't want to say that I do not like hugs because I made that statement the other day. And to me, that can be a very intimidating or hurtful statement when someone asks you for a hug and you say, I don't do hugs or I don't like to hug. And that's okay if that's your thing. But I've learned that it's not totally my thing. I don't like to be hugged or touched when I am not 100% in a good mood, when I'm not 100% feeling that we are in a place where we are good, where we're 100, as some people would say, where things are all good. And this individual asked me for a hug at that time at the end of this discussion. And though I know the discussion was fruitful, I also knew that the discussion was not complete because of past experiences. And when they asked me for a hug, I said, no, I'm not a hugger. No. And then they said, come on, give me a hug. It'll only be one time. And I said, no, come on. And I thought to myself, well, heck, let's just get this out the way and let me hug the individual. Probably was the worst thing that I could have done because I felt so violated and I felt as if the person had really breached part of who I was and really got me in a place where I was vulnerable. It felt ugly, it felt dirty. And so when Maya Angelou says, and this is the takeaway from her discussion here is that when there's a place in you that you know that you have to keep to yourself, it's pure, it's yours, it doesn't belong to anyone else. You do whatever it takes to protect that. And that's part of advocating for yourself. So this was my moment where I shoulda, coulda, woulda used this advice and I didn't. And as a result, it really it really impacted me in a way that's really hard to explain. But I know now, or I believe now, if I'm asked for a hug, that I need to protect that part of me. So I'm sorry you were not able to see this video. However, it's one of the Super Soul Sundays with Oprah Winfrey, where Maya Angelou was really, really serious about sharing this advice with everyone. Okay, so we'll move on to how, when we're advocating for ourselves and when we are attempting to be kind and we're attempting to be clear and concise, one of the biggest things we have to do is be effective with our communication. Now, when I say that, does that mean that the other individual is going to be effective, or the other individual is going to mirror what you do and what you say? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You are only responsible for yourself. You cannot be responsible for others. You cannot be responsible for how others receive the information that you share with them. And you can only be responsible for yourself by utilizing these tips for effective communication. So when we're advocating for ourselves, here's what we're going to do. The first thing is that we're going to be conscious that your emotions are going to show through. And when I say that, I am referring to the times where it may not be appropriate for for you to wear your emotions on your shoulders. And you know how they have that saying, you wear your feelings on your sleeves, or everybody can see. You're very transparent and people can see right through you as far as what you're feeling. So you have to know the situation that you're in and whether or not you are really open to allowing people to be part of that. Is that where the emotion should show, or is that where you should restrain from reflecting those emotions? The other thing is to vary your voice, your tone, and your pitch. I have another story, but I won't share it in detail. But I am of the belief that if you embarrass me in front of five people, I'm going to respond to you in how I am affected in front of those same five people. Because yes, I'm advocating for myself, or I am going to set the record straight. Now, is there a right or a wrong way to do this? I would say no. And the reason I say no is because you do not know what the situation warrants. I cannot speak to your situation because when we're advocating for ourselves, some people think, oh, it's always in a situation that's amicable. We're going to resolve this. Or it's always going to be in a situation where we can have a calm discussion. That's not always the case. And because we're of different cultures, we're of different backgrounds, we're of different lifestyles, I cannot tell you how to advocate for yourself. But I do want to tell you that in that variation of tone and pitch, you still have to be sure that you're communicating what you set out to communicate. Okay? Now, if you want people to accept what you're saying, these are the situations where it's light. You have to share it with enthusiasm. You have to share it with joy. You can't say, okay, come onto my website and you're going to learn some different ways where you can spread joy. Well, geez, you don't look like you're spreading joy right now. Do you know how to spread joy? So when you share things, you share it with excitement. You share it with a smile. You share it with the enthusiasm that you would like people to feel that you have for the situation. So now here, 2 and 4 really relate to each other. When we're adjusting our tone and pitch, be aware of your gestures and the impact they may have. Again, it really depends on the situation. But if we're at work or if we're talking to a friend and we start talking like, yeah, but that, you know what I'm talking about. And you start pointing and you really start to let go of yourself, then you have to consider where you are. Now, if you're in one of those heated discussions and it calls for, I don't know, throwing hands, whatever the case may be, I am not going to tell you that that's okay, but I am going to tell you to be aware of your gestures and the impact that they have, because sometimes we do things and it may come back, or it may be interpreted by the other person in a way that we may not have originally wanted it to be. And you know the old saying, no matter what you do, what you say, look them in the eye. Always look people in the eye when you're talking to them anyway. And finally, you look at what they do. You look at how they're communicating with you because you want to see their gestures as well, but you also want to listen to their tone. Are they really beginning to understand and hear what you're saying? So this way you start to take your tone down a little because you may have started out that conversation amped up and, really angry or really passionate, and now the person might have had an aha moment, and now they're starting to really come down from what they originally, or the level that they originally started out at, and they're bringing it down. So also take into consideration that you have to pay attention to the individual that you're talking to. Okay, so again, is there a wrong way or a right way to advocate for yourself? No, there is not. But you do not want to put yourself in a situation where you are going to make it worse, make the situation worse, because then you're not communicating effectively. Okay, so when we're advocating for ourselves, one thing we need to know is what in the world, what do I need? What am I trying to get across? What information do I need in order to speak this into existence, in order for someone to understand where I am, what I'm setting out to do? You cannot do it if you're not confident. If you set out to advocate for yourself in your I'm not saying that you have to shout, but if you set out to advocate for yourself and you're quiet as a mouse, although it's your personality, you can't be heard. And if you're not heard, then yeah, just like that. It goes just like that. So be confident, know what you need. And bear with me because I do know that my computer acts up sometimes and or it's technology and we're going in and out. But then the other thing, as we said, with being effective in our communication, you have to listen and then act. You don't want to act on an assumption. You always want to listen and then act. And then there are times where we can't do it for ourselves. There are times where we really need the support. We need someone, although we know what we want, we know what we need someone to be there for us or be there with us and advocate for us, along with us attempting to advocate for ourselves. Um, Many of you already know my husband has some health challenges. So there was a moment where we were at the doctor's office and we were discussing some of those challenges because information was shared with us. And the doctor is Japanese and we have a translator, and then there's my husband and myself. And he has no problem advocating for himself. However, what I noticed is that while he's continuing to speak to the translator, and the translator is speaking to the doctor, and the doctor is speaking to the translator, and the translator is speaking to us, something is getting lost in translation. And he keeps repeating himself, and we keep coming back with the same information. So there was a point where I had to say, okay, stop. This is not the question at hand. Here is what he is asking. Here is what we would like to know as a result of this. What is that going to do? I didn't have to say it louder. I didn't have to say it. I didn't have to continue to repeat myself. I framed it differently. I allowed him to advocate for himself because he was quite fine doing that. However, there was a time where I felt he didn't ask for it. I know it was appreciated. He didn't ask for it, but I felt it was my turn to jump in and help advocate for him. And in doing so, thankfully, we were able to get the understanding of what the question was that we wanted to get answered. Now, is that always going to happen? No. You know, they could have told me to mind my business and let him speak for himself. Well, they didn't, and we were able to get that resolved. So now that we know what we're supposed to do when we're advocating for ourselves, effectively communicating, asking for help, listening, responding, and being confident, I have four um, four role plays that I wanted to actually do with you, but we're not going to do. We're going to discuss. There are four role play sessions here, and within these different scenarios, rather, um, when you're advocating for yourself, these scenarios may be resolved, or these scenarios may not warrant the outcome that you expected, but there could be a compromise. Also, there's a scenario here where there's a possibility, no matter how much you advocate for yourself, it may not change the decision that's going to be made. So, the first scenario is it's your godchild's birthday and you've been very successful on a new health plan. Yet, your best friend is going to have this session or this celebration at Cold Stone Creamery. Now, if you know me, I do have challenges sometimes with what I eat and deciding what's good at some times. But when I'm on my plan, I'm on my plan. So let's say this is me, and my godchild is having a birthday party at Cold Stone. And if you don't know what Cold Stone is like Baskin Robbins on steroids. I mean, there's no explanation for me to give you, for me to properly describe what Cold Stone but it is just heaven. And this is not a shameless plug or an ad for Cold Stone. So, how would we go about that? Is there a discussion that can be had between two friends in order to continue or to acknowledge the child's birthday or to be present for that child's birthday without compromising the hard work that you have done to be where you are and be successful on a new health plan? That's a really hard discussion to have with someone who cares for you, someone you care for, but while still thinking to yourself, I come first. At the end of the day, I come first. How is going into Cold Stone Creamery going to impact my new health plan? And for some of you, it might be a no brainer. I'm going to go, I'm not going to order. For some of you, you may go, you may say, okay, I'll get a little bit, just a small cup, or I'll just get a sample. And there may be individuals who walk in there, and just because they walk in there, they have to have this nice presentation in front of them, and there goes that successful plan. So, a lot has to be considered. A lot has to be considered as this day comes forth. I cannot tell you whether or not the individual is going to be successful. It's a conversation, it's a scenario, and sometimes it's something that may need to be put on hold or find another way to celebrate the child. The second situation or the scenario is that a doctor has prescribed what he or she believes is good medication for your migraines. But one of the side effects of that migraine medication is impeding your ability to work. Now, it could be impeded in one way or the other. You know, there's no necessarily specific um, side effect that I can think of. I mean, I can think of one, but it's not too kind to share or not too clean to share. Um, what do you do in that situation? It's, you no longer have migraines, but you now have this side effect that is impeding your ability to go to work. How do you talk to your doctor about that? What do you do before you talk to your doctor about that? What do you do if your doctor said, this is the only thing that I have? Tough decisions to make, but always make decisions that are best for yourself. This is part of advocating for yourself. So now the third scenario is you're a lead on an ongoing team project. Not all members are active and contributing to the task that's at hand, and the deadline is right around the corner. How do you handle that? How do you advocate for your well being, your sanity, your mental health? How do you advocate that you don't lose your job because you're not going to act out on the job, but you want everybody or you need everybody to be on board? How do you have these discussions? These are real life discussions in different scenarios of how we have to advocate for ourselves. You do have to have some hard conversations sometimes. Sometimes it may be releasing someone from the team. Sometimes it may be bringing in someone else as a mediator. There could be many resolutions to this, or the resolution may be that you yourself come off the team. It all depends on what the situation is. And the last scenario here, poor cabbie, in order to ensure that this woman gets to the hospital to deliver her baby and not in the taxi cab, he speeds up and eventually is pulled over by the police. Now, this may be a scenario where he gets escorted, right? This may be a scenario where, all is well and he is able to bring the fare to the hospital. But this can also be a scenario where the police just doesn't care. But you, as the cabbie, are going to advocate for the safe arrival of this baby, not in your cab, but at the hospital. So, as much as you may think, or with these four scenarios that are so different, sometimes you don't realize that you're advocating for yourself when you're talking or you're discussing things. And you think it's just everyday life. No, but within everyday life, we're advocating for ourselves on a daily basis, on a daily basis. So take these four scenarios and, think about different ways. You may have different outcomes or different resolutions to these than I just mentioned, but it's just, this is just shared to provoke some thinking on the different things that we go through on a daily basis and how we possibly may resolve them through application. Okay, so here is the QR code that I spoke about before. And this QR code that thank you, Jackie. This QR code that we just shared, I'm just sharing right now. Please take a picture of it, and it's going to give you the documents, the two next documents that I have. And this is one of the documents, and this is after you've listened to the various sessions, at least the two sessions that are coming up for nutrition and mental health. And again, we'll have another session with Kenya. We'd start to talk about plotting things that are valuable to us and what matters and what are your specific needs in these various areas. And after you've completed this, then you're able to take time to really sit down and complete that advocacy action plan. So these two documents go hand in hand. You take time to fill this out, and then next, you're able to fill this next one out. Now, I am hoping and praying with these next 12 minutes we have left that this video, Are You a Purple Person, is going to work because I do not have the book. And Are You a Purple a minute for it to load, and hopefully here we are. Talk about, oh my gosh, the universe is working in my favor. So let's have some story time. I selected this book because as an educator, there are hundreds and thousands of books out there with these lessons and tales and stories made for little people. But when you think about it and you read them, especially as a teacher, reading them to students, you think, oh, I know some adults who can use that lesson, or this applies to us. This applies to the things that I do on a daily basis. So, without further ado, I want to share with you the world needs more purple people, and then we'll wrap this session up. Technology. It's attempting, it's making its attempt to showcase. And if it does not come up, I do have another way that I can possibly share it with you. Here we are. I guess I just have to be patient, right?
Welcome back, readers. Today's read aloud is The World Needs More Purple People by Kristen Bell and Benjamin Hart. Hey, kid. Yeah, you. Are you kind? Are you curious? Can you be really right now? Because you're about to.
We're going to give it one more try. And if it doesn't work, I will ask.
Welcome back, readers. Today's read aloud is The World Needs More Purple People by Kristen Bell and Benjamin Hart. Hey, kid. Yeah, you. Are you kind? Are you curious? Can you be really, really ridiculously silly? Then you'd better open this book right now, because you're about to become a purple person. Ta-da! Follow my guide to become a purple person. How to Become a Purple Person by Penny. Now, you may be asking yourself, why in the whole wide world would I want to be purple? Purple is a magic color made when red and blue work together. I think all the best things in the world are purple. But you're probably wondering, what does that have to do with people? Wow, are you a genius? Because you're already on your way to becoming a purple person. You want to know why? Step 1, ask really great questions. My dad says purple people ask great questions. Questions about everything, even questions about questions. Hey, Dad, how far away is outer space? Have you ever met a dolphin? How many dolphins live in outer space? Purple questions are the kind that help you learn something really big about the world or something really small about another person. How tall is the world's tallest rainbow? What's your bear's name? Charlie? Dad says the more purple questions you ask, the more purple you become. How many do you think there are? He also says I can only ask him 20 questions about space dolphins per day. Step 2, laugh a lot. My grandma says purple people laugh a lot. We are always laughing together. I mean like snot out our nose laughing. We laugh at books. We laugh at jokes. How do you make a tissue dance? Put a little boogie in it. We laugh at donkey dances and hairy elephant knees. Hee-haw. And we especially laugh at Grandpa's funny noises. Ha-ha, snort, ha-ha. Purple laughing helps us remember the things we share and forget what we thought made us different. And it's almost impossible to be angry when you're laughing. Try it. I dare you. Grandma says the more purple laughing you do, the more purple you become. She also says Grandpa's noises are her favorite funny noises in the whole wide world. Step 3. Use your voice. And don't lose your voice. My mom says purple people use their voice and don't lose their voice. She encourages me to use my voice to sing. My dad is the one with the hairy chest who loves me more than all the rest. To give good ideas, let's wear monster costumes to school. And to share my opinion, I personally feel like we shouldn't have to eat Brussels sprouts because they smell like sweaty socks. Sometimes purple people lose their voice, and that's okay. It happens. A purple voice helps someone who is having trouble finding their own voice. Purple people don't just speak up, they also listen. Maybe you could tell them you don't like it when they call you that name. Want me to help you tell them? Mom says the more you use your purple voice, the more purple you become. Mom, can you help me with my play? She also says she heard my opinion on Brussels sprouts, but I still have to eat them. I'm going to work on a better argument. Step 4. Work hard. Super duper hard. My grandpa says purple people know how to dig in and get stuff done. He and I like to work hard while we build things, and while we learn things, and while we grow things. Purple work is the kind of work that's done together to change something that needs changing. What do we want? Playgrounds. When do we want them? Now! Fix something that needs fixing, or help someone who needs helping. Grandpa says the more purple work you do, the more purple you become. He also says no purple work has ever been done while sitting on your backside sipping strawberry lemonade. Okay, are you ready for the last step? Are you ready? Are you sure? Are you sure you're ready? Are you really, really ready? Okay, drum roll, please. Step 5, paint yourself purple. Just kidding. That's not the way to become a purple person. Actually, being a purple person has nothing to do with what you look like. My teacher says purple people look all sorts of ways. They are big and small and old and young. Some wear cool coats, some wear shorts with lots of pockets, and some wear funny hats. She says some purple people feel blue sometimes and red other times, and some purple people even have green hair. Step 5, just be the real you. Like my teacher always says, purple people come in every color you can dream up, and every size you can think up. The only way to be purple is to just be you. Hey, wait a minute. You ask really great questions. You laugh a lot. You use your voice all the time. You are a really hard worker. And you are totally you. Well, I'll be a llama's mama. You've been beautifully purple this whole time. I sure am glad you're a purple person, because the world needs more purple people just like you. The end.
Okay.
Please remember to hit
I really, really hope that you enjoyed that little story because being a purple person, we can take that story and lend it to many different aspects of our lives. Thinking about the red and the blue being separate entities, and when they come together, they work as one and they become purple. And you've heard all the beautiful things that purple people can do. Purple people ask questions to clarify situations. There's some purple people that ask too many questions, and then, yeah, you advocate for yourself and you ask them, you're going to be limited on these questions that you ask. Purple people laugh at themselves, they laugh at their family, their friends, and so on and so forth. But most importantly, purple people use their voices. They use their voices for themselves, they use their voices for others when others are unable to use their voice for themselves. And more than anything else, I saw that purple people were advocates, and they were advocates not only for themselves, they were advocates for situations, they were advocates for people, they were advocates to make things better for everybody else. So, with all that being said, I want you to continue to remain being purple, and I want you to remain advocating for yourself because you got this. And I thank you. I thank you. I thank you so much for sharing this time with me.
Thank you so much, Dr. Cheri. Can we give Dr. Cheri a hand, everybody that's on? And I see purple hearts in the chat. Yes, I am a purple person. Purple is my favorite color. So I'm like, yes, I'm a purple person. And I do my best to advocate for situations. Yes, thank you so much. We got comments coming in. Someone said, I got this. Yes, you got this. Thanks again. We got the purple hearts. So, Dr. Cheri, there were so many things that resonated with me during your presentation. And one, like I said, so many, but one I really laughed at when you talked about the challenges with the food. And so we're not going to say dieting, we're going to say lifestyle change.
Yes, yes, yes,
We're going to say that because for
yes.
me, every Monday, my family, they already know, like every Monday, they're like, okay, are you going on a diet today? Every week I'm going on a diet. But just this morning, I told my husband because, like, he doesn't have any problems, right, with gaining weight or anything. So he eats all of this stuff, and then he wants to bring like chips in the bed at 10 o'clock at night. So I'm like, oh, let's have some chips. And I'm looking at myself like, you know, wait a minute. And I told him
Dude,
this morning, I said, listen, I'm gonna need you to help me. I'm gonna need you to stop
yes.
bringing, just like last night, he brings me this big cup of ice cream. And I said, I just want to taste. I just want like two teaspoons. And he brings this big cup. He's like, no, because I didn't want to deprive you. Like,
Jackie,
no.
you have to advocate for yourself.
I know. So when you said that, I was like, oh, yes, that's me. I have to advocate for myself because he's not going to help me. It's crazy. So, but yes, that is so true with about us advocating for ourselves and for other people and different situations that are going on. So very good. Dr. Cheri, tell us, how can we get the charts that you showed? The different little
I
charts.
shared on one of, yeah, I do believe that the screen froze at the time, but there is what do you call that? A QR code that I shared
Okay.
on one of the slides. If you take a picture of that QR code, it will give you the two slides with the two forms to fill out.
Okay, perfect. And so if y'all missed it, there's a QR code so you can just kind of scroll back. And what I'll do is I'll get that from you, Dr. Cheri, and put it in the comments
Okay,
so that they can also be able to just grab it out of the comments. All right.
absolutely.
Yes. Okay. So we have some comments from YouTube. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Cheri. Oh, yes. Those husbands do some things with that food. Yes, honey, they do. They do some things with that food. So we got to advocate for ourselves. Don't let them,
That's
yeah, don't
right.
let them do it to you. I'm talking to myself too. I'm not going to let them do it to me. I'm not. All right. Again, Dr. Cheri, thank you so much. That was really good. And guys, if y'all have any questions, we will be putting Dr. Cheri's contact information in so you can reach out to her. She is an educator. She didn't give her bio, but she is an educator. She has been for many years. And she is over in Japan. I think we did mention that earlier. So we are so honored that you're here with us and that you took the time out to be with us on our evening and your morning.
Thank you. Thank you, Jackie, for always the open invitation. And thank you for allowing me to spotlight here with you and these fabulous ladies.
Yes, thank you, thank you. So, guys, I don't know if y'all are ready, but we are steady moving. But before we go to our next presenter, we're having Kenya. Kenya is going to come back and do another activity with us. So, we're super excited to have her come back. But in the meantime, I am going to share with you some of our business owners. We are spotlighting some women business owners during our workshop. And these women, they own their own businesses and they are changing lives. They're changing the lives of their families, leaving legacies. They're changing lives in community. These people, I know them. And not only do I know them, somewhere along the way, I may have purchased their products or services. And so I'm super excited to showcase them. And if I haven't, I will be soon. So we're going to spotlight these our people. Okay, hold on one second. Let me do that. All right, so here we go. We're going to get it together. So the first woman, of course, y'all, I don't know if she looks familiar, but that's me. And I am Jackie O, and I'm the owner of the Glow Collection by Jackie O, which is an organic skincare line. It is good for your skin and the environment. I'm trying to move this here to where I have the full screen. So yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. So let All right, so I was trying to get that at full stream, but it looks like it's not working. So let me start over. This is the Glow Collection by Jackie O. I am Jackie O, and our skincare is organic. It is good for your skin and the environment. We think of our skincare collection as gourmet skin, gourmet food for your skin. It is high in nutrients and vitamins. It has no chemicals, no dyes. It's no fragrances, cruelty free. So it is absolutely amazing. And you can shop online at JackieO.com. You can follow us on Facebook at Jackie O Blog and follow us on Instagram at Jackie O and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Jackie O. Yes. And our next woman-owned business, oh my goodness, I have had her seasonings and they are absolutely amazing. Priya is the owner of Anar Gourmet Foods, and Anar Gourmet Foods, it makes all natural gluten-free Indian seasoned kits with their South Indian family recipes. They are a minority woman-owned business and a certified member of the Women's Business Enterprise. And Priya, she loves to share the joy of blending cultures and spices because her family actually is a multicultural family. So y'all need to check her out at Anar Gourmet Foods, and you can follow her on Instagram and Facebook at Anar Gourmet Foods. Y'all, I'm telling you, these recipe, her seasoning kits, they are super, super simple and they are delicious, delicious. And our next woman-owned business, if y'all need some jewelry, I mean some fashion, and y'all want to just, and you're on a budget, you need to check out Pretty Girl Fashion Accessories. The owner is Angela Hatnot Burrell. She is an independent paparazzi consultant. And as a matter of fact, I'm sporting one of the items that's a paparazzi. It's on my neck. All right. And so you can follow her on Instagram at PGF Accessories, on Facebook at Pretty Girl Fashion Accessories, and her website is Pretty Girl Fashion Accessories. Those are some of our women-owned businesses that we are spotlighting. We have some more that we will be spotlighting as the night goes on. But I hope you guys are ready for our next presentation. And I believe, I'm sorry, I told you Kenya was back, but Kenya is not back. The next presentation, she's a fireball, she's just a fireball. That's all I can say. She is young. She's from the Philippines, and she is phenomenal. I'm fixing to bring her on right now, and that is Nina. Hey, Nina.
Unmute. Okay. Hi. Good morning. Good
How are
evening.
you?
I'm doing very well. How about you?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank
Nina
you for
is
having me.
also, it's morning time for her, Sunday morning. So I thank you so much for being on. I know that you have a lot going on. Nina was with us for one of our Motivational Mondays on last year. I believe it was the early part of last year. And she's just so sweet. I was like, I'm going to have you come back and talk to us and do a workshop, because we really enjoyed Nina, the information that she gave. And so today she's going to be talking to us about some nutrition and being balanced, and how you still need to do that as a young person. All right. So, hey, I'm going to let Nina take it away.
Thank you so much. So I'm going to share my slides with you guys. Hopefully, okay. There we go. So thank you again so much for being here with us today. Once again, good morning and good evening to everyone who is watching. And I just wanted to say how beautiful was that meditation that we had earlier. In fact, it was something that really calmed my nerves before coming on here. And of course, as a young person, it's very common for me to have imposter syndrome. So it's something that really helped me overcome the nerves and really helped me stay grounded. And of course, how can we not be inspired by Dr. Cheri's sharing about advocating for ourselves? And now I'm going to teach you how to advocate for yourself with nutrition and exercise for true wellness. So before we get into the meat of the segment, let me first introduce myself. So my name is Nina Marchadesch. I actually show women who struggle with self-love from loss how to ditch negative coping mechanisms for her physical and mental health. So I specialize in using nutrition, exercise, and supplementation for physical and mental health. I am from the Philippines, Bacolod City to be exact. I am 23 years old, and I'm currently one semester away from getting my degree in medical biology. And I'm also an entrepreneur. I did not include it there. I don't know why, but I'm an entrepreneur. I'm also a dog lover, makeup lover, and fashion lover. So if you love dogs, if you love makeup, if you love fashion, drop me in the comments. I'd love to know how many people I have so much in common with. And I've also been studying metabolic health for the past 5 years under experts such as Dr. Benjamin Bickman, Dr. Ted Neyman, and Dr. Stuart Phillips, to name a few. I'm also a functional nutrition coach apprentice, and I have partnered with a metabolic health company called Unicity, whose products help you bridge your health gaps and achieve true wellness faster and easier. So, now that that is out of the way, what is true wellness? Well, true wellness is simply the balanced state of health and well-being across multiple dimensions. So the dimensions of wellness that we have are physical wellness, mental wellness, emotional wellness, financial wellness, social wellness, spiritual wellness, occupational wellness, and intellectual wellness. Today, however, we will just be focusing on how nutrition and exercise can impact your physical wellness and even your mental wellness. So, in a physical sense, true wellness isn't just the absence of disease or health problems. It is actually your body's ability to function at peak performance. It's having enough energy to power through your day, having mental clarity. It's also your mood and how great you feel. It's having regular bowel movements daily or even few times a day. It's also physical manifestations such as how healthy is your skin, how healthy your hair is, how well you manage your weight. So, if you're starting to notice signs that your body is no longer functioning at peak performance, then there must be an underlying cause, right? Yes, there is. What prevents us from being truly well or achieving true wellness is the condition called insulin resistance. So this condition is the precursor to the world's major health problems such as diabetes, obesity, Alzheimer's disease, and heart disease, to name a few. So these are just some of the examples that um, insulin resistance can lead to if not addressed early on. So I just wanted to share to help you guys have some more awareness about some of the signs that may indicate that you are insulin resistant. So the first one is excess abdominal fat, and then you have weight gain and difficulty losing weight. If you're experiencing intense cravings for sweets, salty and starchy food, if you're always fatigued, always have brain fog, and always have poor focus, like you can't concentrate as much. And we also have darker dry skin patches of skin um, on the groin, armpits, or back of the neck. And this also feels kind of leathery as well. This is what we call acanthosis nigricans. And we also have high blood pressure. And for women, it's polycystic ovarian syndrome or PCOS. So these are just some of the signs that might indicate that you have insulin resistance. Of course, you can also have more objective assessments as well, such as taking your blood tests regularly. So, in terms of mental wellness, insulin resistance actually disrupts dopamine signaling. So, dopamine is our feel good hormone, and impairments in how our brain processes these connections and hormones can lead to depression. Moreover, studies have also associated insulin resistance with decreased volumes in the anterior cingulate cortex in the brain. So that is the blue area right over there in the photo. It is the part of the brain that is involved in emotional processing, thus leading to more severe depressive symptoms. So if you have depression or anxiety or other mental health problems, it can be exacerbated or worsened by insulin resistance. So now that's enough neurobiology for you today. Let's talk about what causes insulin resistance. It is actually simply just our poor lifestyle, our poor diet, lack of exercise, lack of sleep, stress and anxiety, and of course, exposure to pollution. And years upon years of living an unhealthy lifestyle is what will lead us to developing insulin resistance and eventually chronic diseases. The good news is that insulin resistance can be reversed. Or if you don't have it yet, you can prevent it from happening at all. So, and that's exactly what I'm going to be sharing with you today. You will be learning the secrets to addressing and preventing insulin resistance and therefore the secret to achieving true wellness. So, are you ready? If you're ready to learn the secret, drop I'm ready in the comments and let's get this party started. Woohoo! All right. So, let's first talk about nutrition. So, nutrition is really the king of all lifestyle factors. When it comes to making changes to your eating habits, it's very hard. It's not easy, and especially when there's so much information out there. So from my own nutrition education, from being able to reverse my own insulin resistance, plus helping others do the same, these 5 nutrition hacks are that I'm about to share with you are very much proven and tested. So the first hack is something that all scientists, doctors, and nutritionists agree on. It is to make whole food the star of your diet. Whole food is food in its natural state or as close to it as possible, or it is how it's found in nature and not in colorful packaging with lots of ingredients stated on the packaging. So, whole food is low in sugar, high in fiber, and rich in micronutrients that our body needs for our very important metabolic functions. And if your diet is mostly composed of processed food, this usually contains refined flour, added sugar, and preservatives that will increase your likelihood of developing insulin resistance and therefore pulling you back or pulling you away from achieving true wellness. The second hack is to eat less frequently. So for many years we have been taught to eat small frequent meals throughout the day and to never skip a meal because this will slow our metabolism. However, many recent studies have disproven this. Aside from being a highly inflammatory activity, so eating is a highly inflammatory activity, eating small frequent meals throughout the day keeps our blood sugar and insulin levels high. And eating less frequently allows your insulin levels to go down. And also, having a fasting window keeps your insulin levels lower for a longer period of time. And this ensures that your body will stay sensitive to insulin and therefore reducing your likelihood of developing insulin resistance. And of course, achieving true wellness in the process. So the third hack is to control carbohydrates. And this is not saying to avoid it at all costs. It's simply just making smart choices when it comes to carbohydrate source. So choosing your carbohydrates that don't cause a huge spike in blood sugar and therefore insulin. So these are your low glycemic index carbohydrates. You can do a quick search on Google to identify the glycemic indices of your favorite carbs such as rice, of your favorite fruits, potatoes, and all of those things. And the higher the glycemic index, the more impact it has on your blood sugar and insulin levels. So an example of making smart choices rather when it comes to choosing your carbohydrates is to choose fruits and vegetables over refined carbohydrates such as white rice, white bread, cakes, cookies, and other pastries. So that is something that will sadden a lot of people, but it's very important for us to implement in our lifestyle. The fourth hack is to prioritize protein because protein is essential in building and maintaining healthy muscles, which can help improve insulin sensitivity. It also causes a smaller insulin response compared to carbohydrates. I actually included the graph over here. In the previous slide, we talked about carbohydrates. So the red line is the spike in insulin that is caused by carbs, and the blue dotted line is caused by protein. So it causes a smaller insulin response compared to carbohydrates, which keeps you fuller for longer, allowing you to reduce the frequency of your meals and this gives your insulin time to go down. We also need to consume at least 1.2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight per day. And we also have to be choosing high quality protein or protein that comes with fat, as this helps with protein digestion. And to tell you or just make note of a very important factor as well, biologically, animal meat is of higher quality compared to plant based protein because of the amount of essential amino acids contained in animal meat, which is also what our body needs. So, when it comes to measuring the amount of protein that you need every day, so I mentioned here to at least um, consume 1.2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. For example, if I weigh 51 kilograms, I should be consuming at least 61 grams of protein every day. So if you're trying to gain weight, this should be more. Um, if you're trying to build muscle, rather, this should be even more. So Now let's get to the last hack, and that is to fuel with healthy fat. The old nutrition paradigm has taught us to be fearful of fat. However, fat is actually essential to humans. It is considered the most effective fuel source, especially when you're eating less frequently. They are structural building blocks for your cells, for inside your body, and make up some of the very important hormones that you know give us or that can perform the very important functions of our body every single day. And of course, it also promotes vitamin absorption, especially of fat soluble vitamins, which are also essential for our daily metabolic processes. So, fat has very, very little to no insulin response. As you can see in the graph on the bottom left, it is the yellow line. It has very little to no insulin response, and it also digests much slower than carbohydrates. And like protein, it keeps you fuller for a longer period of time. So, allowing you to also eat less frequently and having a longer period of fasting. So take note that healthy fats are made by nature. So we should avoid vegetable oils, canola oil, corn oil, margarine, and all these other oils that are manufactured through toxic processes. So these are just some of the guide. You can screenshot this and keep it with you. And the reason why we should avoid them is because they undergo a lot of processes to get them to where they to get them to the final product, and these processes um, cause inflammation when we consume them. So now that we are done with nutrition, let's talk about exercise. So exercise is not just about being able to lose or gain weight. It is actually crucial for our overall health. And first, exercise is important for your mental wellness because it is dubbed as the most underrated antidepressant. It relieves stress, anxiety, depression, and even anger. Second, it improves the quality of your life. Without regular physical activity, your body slowly loses its strength, stamina, and ability to function properly. And if we recall what I mentioned earlier, true wellness means that your body or you are in the state of being well in all dimensions. And physically, it's about being able to function at peak performance. So, exercise allows you to maintain the strength and mobility you need to perform your daily activities and more without getting tired easily. There. Lastly, it prolongs your life, and this is because insulin exercise can combat insulin resistance and therefore chronic disease. So you will be at lower risk of developing chronic disease, which leads to premature death. So, what is the best exercise for true wellness? Remember that true wellness is the state of well-being in all dimensions. We keep mentioning that so that we, you know, keep it in our brains. So therefore, the best exercise is whatever you love to do. It is whatever makes you happy. Could be cycling, running, swimming, dancing, hiking, yoga, whatever makes you feel good. But in terms of preventing and improving insulin resistance, there is one form of exercise that everyone must incorporate into their fitness routine, and that is strength training. You see, building muscle is more than just about your physique or how you look. The skeletal muscle system is one of the most important sites of glucose usage in the body. This means that whatever we eat, any excess glucose that are not used by the cells in our body, gets sent straight to the muscles. And since the muscular system is considered the largest organ system in the body, it also has a larger demand for glucose uptake. Therefore, having more muscle and having more muscle means having more areas to deliver glucose to, and this will greatly improve your insulin sensitivity. So make sure that you're not just doing cardio in your daily fitness routine. Lift some weights too. It will not make you bulky. I know that that's something that concerns a lot of women. Lifting weights will not make you bulky because we do not produce enough testosterone as men. So another science lesson for you there. So just to recap, true wellness is the state of well-being in all dimensions. In a physical sense, it's your body's ability to function at peak performance. What prevents us from being truly well or achieving true wellness is the condition called insulin resistance. So, insulin resistance is caused by our poor lifestyle and can also be prevented or reversed with a healthy lifestyle. And nutrition is the king among all lifestyle factors to consider when it comes to optimizing metabolic health and addressing your insulin resistance. So the five nutrition hacks that I mentioned earlier was to one, make whole food the start of your diet. Number two, eat less frequently. Three, control your carbohydrates. Four, prioritize your protein. And number five, fuel with healthy fats. Next, exercise is also important for true wellness. It is dubbed as the most underrated antidepressant. It improves your quality of life and prolongs your life since it combats insulin resistance. The best exercise for true wellness is anything you enjoy doing. And the most important for a form of exercise for prevention of insulin resistance is strength training. So, on a final note, this is for everyone who is around my age or younger, or have kids that are around my age or younger. As Jackie mentioned earlier, she asked me why, or she mentioned that I would be mentioning why at such a young age I'm talking about this, and I'm spreading awareness about all of these things, because it is actually a common misconception for us younger people that because we're still young, we're invincible. So that's not true. Insulin resistance can develop as early as childhood and often starts with not feeling anything at all. In the society that we live in now, this is not surprising because we are constantly bombarded with false information about health, and we are exposed to food that we think are healthy but really aren't good for us at all. We have food that are packaged, processed food that are marketed as healthy, when in reality, if you look at the ingredients, you will be surprised at how many things are inside and how many of those are actually preservatives or something that can cause more harm than good to your body. So it is time for us to take back our health as soon as possible. And you might have heard the saying, prevention is better than cure. And I 100% agree with that statement. So, being health conscious, especially while still young, is critical in preventing illness. And if you are someone who has already developed these illnesses, then you can still take back your health by moving backwards from what caused your disease in the first place. So, if it's a chronic disease, chances are it's also your lifestyle that led you to developing this illness. So, it is very important for us to achieve true wellness. I mean, taking ownership of our health and taking back power over our health and advocating for ourselves, advocating for our health is very important for us to achieve true wellness. And I hope that my sharing with you today can help you achieve exactly that. So, thank you so much for joining me here today to learn more about nutrition and exercise for true wellness. And thank you, Jackie, for allowing me to be part of this very powerful workshop and for allowing me to, for giving me the space to spread awareness in very important topics such as this one. So if you want more information about what I do and how I can help you, feel free to visit my Instagram. It's just at Nina Marchadesch. My name is right on the screen there. Feel free to give me a follow because I have a lot of fun stuff in store for the next coming months. And also don't forget to follow Miss Jackie and all of the other amazing speakers on their social media platforms. And if you learned anything new, I would love to hear your takeaways, anything that surprised you. Please feel free to drop them in the comments below and let me know because I would really appreciate it.
Yay.
Thank you so much for
Thank
having me.
you so much, Nina. Yes, we have some comments. Loved all the things that you mentioned. Thank you so much. Really learned a lot. Yes, that was some really good information, very informative.
Thank you.
And if you guys have any questions, please put that in the
Yes.
chat so that we can get those questions answered for you. If not on this, right now on this platform, we can definitely forward them to Nina so that she can respond. There
Yeah.
was another comment, yippee, that was great. Yes. And I do have a question for you, Nina, because I
Yeah.
do know that what we eat has a lot to do with our health and illnesses that we have. And so when you were saying that about it's not too late to, I guess, get on track. So for
Yes.
those people that they're just kind of gone. And, I don't think people can be too gone, but I don't know. I'm not a medical professional, but I would think, would they be able, if they're just so far off, if they totally change their lifestyle, what they eat, exercise, because you just told us that exercising is so important. And I didn't know that about strength training. I thought just what you said, oh, if I do all this strength training, I'm going to build all these muscles and look like a bodybuilder. But so now I know I need to do that. But
Yes.
do you think that they can get back on track or that they can become healthy if they make those changes?
Yes. So it actually depends on the extent of their illness. So if they're already in this phase where they're already experiencing organ failure from the diseases that they have. So for example, in with those with diabetes, it's common for the end stage of diabetes to develop chronic kidney failure. So for those in that phase, for stage 4 cancer and all of those other end stage illnesses, it's there can be measures that can be taken to prevent any more further harm, but it cannot be reversed. So
Okay.
once your organs have failed, um, it's something that you just have to prevent anything from getting worse. But for those who are just experiencing um, blood test abnormalities such as high cholesterol, diabetes, those who are taking medications, it is actually very possible to reverse their condition. It might not take very quick, or it might take a very long time to do so, but it is possible because we must remember that the lifestyle that we have developed over the years is also what led us to developing these illnesses. So if it took us decades to develop these illnesses, then it will not take us months to reverse it.
Yeah. Yeah.
However, it is very possible with nutrition, with exercise, with supplementation, and with other lifestyle factors as well.
Okay.
And for those who are in between, for those who are between healthy and between those who have already symptoms of illnesses such as high cholesterol, diabetes, it is very much possible to bring you back to true wellness with nutrition, exercise, and supplementation. So
Okay.
there's still hope.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's good to know for, people that there is hope that they can get on track or get back on track. We have a question about fasting. Can fasting cause gas?
It actually, I think it mostly depends on the person,
Okay.
and it also depends on your gut health. So fasting is actually a way for you to rest your digestive system. So when if you have an overactive hyper if you have a hyperactive digestive system rather, yes, it can cause you gas. But when you are fasting, you are limiting the amount of activity that's happening there. So it may also improve your digestive health as well.
Okay. Okay. And staying on with digestive health before I go to the next question, with probiotics, because I went to the doctor the other day and he's not a gastrologist, but he recommended that I take probiotics. So I said, okay, well, how much should I take? And he said to Google it. I was like, okay. So, like, is there a recommendation before when you take probiotics. So like I bought the pill and I believe it said it was 25 billion or million lives, something. I don't have the bottle in front of me, but is there a recommended dosage or recommended what we should take?
I don't for as for the amount of like this, it's called the CFU, colony forming units. I I much rather believe in having a more diverse amount of bacteria that's in the probiotics. So the more bacteria that's in the probiotics, the better for your gut health, because the more diverse the bacteria in our gut, the more efficient we process food, the more it is beneficial for our health, because different bacteria produces different enzymes or different byproducts that are very important for our overall health, and they also perform many different functions as well. So yeah, with anything in our diet, diversity is key. So the more colorful your fruits and veggies, the better. Yeah, so diversity is definitely more important, I think, than how
Okay.
much bacteria is in there.
Okay, got it. Why is it important for young people like you to avoid insulin resistance?
Thank you for that question. So avoiding insulin resistance, like I mentioned earlier, means avoiding chronic diseases in the future. So chronic diseases are caused by lifestyle, and not entirely just by our genetics. So it's a very common misconception that when you have the genes for certain diseases, that you will inevitably develop those diseases. So for example, in my family, I have both lines that have diabetes. So it is very important for me to avoid insulin resistance, because I have a much more likelihood of developing it earlier, and therefore also shortening my life by a very um, long period of time. So avoiding insulin resistance does not only mean avoiding disease. It also means avoiding any current health struggles that you are facing. So for when I was struggling with insulin resistance, I had brain fog. I was craving sweets all the time, and this affected my ability to perform well in my studies and also with running my business. And when you are insulin resistant, your body is not responding to a very important hormone called insulin, and this means that your metabolic functions are also kind of lessened, which means that it will develop into more problems in the future. So in order for us to maintain the already great health that we have as young people right now, this is the one thing that we should be working to prevent. Yeah.
Okay,
So that's
sounds great. Sounds great. Thank you. Okay, and then we have one last question that we're gonna do before we hop to the next one is tell us, why should we avoid soy protein? Why does everyone seems to want to avoid soy protein?
So our belief is that it's not the what, it's the how. So it's how the soy was produced, it's how it was grown, it's how it was it how it was processed to the final product in the market. So soy is mostly industrialized, especially in the US, where um, it there's a lot of chemical fertilizers that are used to grow soy, pesticides to avoid contamination of pests. So all of these chemical things or uh, chemicals that are applied to the plants, the soy itself, is absorbed into the plant. And when you process soy, the chemicals or the toxins that are absorbed by the plant are carried on into the final product. So with it's not necessarily that soy in itself is bad, it's how it was processed and how it was manufactured. So if it was produced by a factory, chances are they used some sort of petroleum products or other chemicals to get out those ingredients that are put into the final soy protein product. Yeah. So it's not the what, it's the how.
The how. Yes.
Yes.
Well, again, Nina, thank you so much. You guys follow Nina on Instagram. We'll have everyone's information. We'll make sure that we put it in the chats after the workshop. That way you can contact them. You can follow them, ask more questions. So Nina, thank you so much.
Thank you for
For
having
being
me.
here. We really appreciate, yes, and the person that asked about the soy said, thank you for answering that.
You're welcome.
So, yeah. All righty then. Thank you, Nina. Okay, guys, I hope y'all have been enjoying this workshop. It is absolutely amazing. Dr. Cheri came with advocating for you, advocating for me, and, letting us know, are we purple people? I hope y'all are purple people. Nina talked about nutrition and gave some very good information, things that I did not know, and I'm sure a lot of you didn't know as well. So we are keeping it going. We're going to have Kenya come back on and do another exercise with us, just to kind of get y'all woke up if you are feeling a little tired. Some of you it's morning time and some of us it's at night. And so Kenya is going to come back and share another meditation exercise with us. But before she comes back and do that, I am going to share with you several more women entrepreneurs that we want to spotlight. And we have none other than Dr. Cheri. Y'all heard from her earlier. She is an independent brand partner for Savvy. Savvy is an active wear company. So listen, y'all heard Kenya had on, I believe, a top earlier, and they have leggings, and you can see Dr. Cheri in the picture that she's in. They have tops and skirts and little jackets. Everything nice and comfortable. So y'all need to if y'all please check Dr. Cheri out and Savvy, and you can do that at savvy.com.wearesavvy. Y'all, who wants to be savvy? I know I do. So we need to hop on over there and get us some of this active wear so that we can be comfortable in what we're doing. You can run errands in it. You can lounge around in it. It is true active wear. Savvy. Our next woman entrepreneur is Sophie. Sophie has this amazing company that she uses handmade alcohol ink to make her coasters, and she has trays and she has artwork. Super, super cute, very different and unique. So you can find her on Instagram at chick_ink, and her Etsy shop is Chick Ink Art. Chick Ink Art. And this is Chick Ink, and the owner is Sophie. So yeah, y'all got to check that out. This is some really, really unique items that she has. Then we have Krista Griffin. Krista is an author and she's an entrepreneur of all things CG. Krista, she is all into self-care, self-love, affirmations. She has written a book and it has affirmations in there, and you can, there's lines where you can journal. So you can find her on Instagram and Facebook at all things SCG, and her website is allthingsscg.com. And then we have Julie's Haven. Julie's Haven is a nonprofit organization, and it is the executive director is Angela Hughes, and it is for young girls. They help them with sex trafficking and sexual abuse. And so you can find them on Facebook at Julie's Safe Haven, and their website is julieshaven.org. If y'all can go and check it out and see how you can be a part to help this organization by whether you're donating or just sharing the organization, that would be so beneficial to Julie's Haven. So those are our women entrepreneurs that we wanted to spotlight. We'll be sharing them again a little bit later on toward the end. So if you missed it, the first several that we did, we'll show them again. All right, so we are getting ready to have Kenya come on back. I think she is ready, and here she is. And so Kenya, welcome back, and I am getting ready to hop off.
Hi, thanks again for allowing me to have this space with you. If you're just joining, again, my name is Kenya, and I am wanting to give you a short embodied activity. Hopefully you'll feel comfortable with doing some of the movements. As what was mentioned earlier about advocating for yourself and just nutrition, some of the things that we say to ourselves and the way that we feed ourselves is the way that we can advocate for ourselves. It isn't always just outward, but sometimes we need to do the things and say the things for ourselves and bring it in. So I would like for you to get in a comfortable position, somewhere where you can move freely. When we think of these words, the things that we say to ourselves, our intent is to reconnect ourselves. It isn't just words that are in our mind, but these words and the meaning and the power that they have, they resonate throughout our body. So I invite you to go on a little of an imaginary process with me, a little journey. And envision yourself as a seed. How would your body feel as a seed? You can hold yourself. You can bring your knees into your chest and pull your arms around your knees. You can sit on the chair if that's what's comfortable for you. And just imagine yourself as a seed. How does that feel? Pretty blank, maybe. Or maybe just open to whatever may come. Maybe you'll grow into a tree or a plant or a flower. So what do you need to grow into one of those things? Nurturing, love, nutrition, attention, just positivity. When we pour those things into ourselves, we begin to grow. So as your seed gets those things, how does it grow? And I know you can see me, but just, if it's more comfortable, close your eyes and allow your body to just move as it needs to move. Do not feel like you need to mimic me or move how I move. Usually when a seed starts to sprout, it grows roots. So plant your feet on the floor. Feel them in all four corners. Whether you're sitting on the floor or in a chair, plant your feet. Feel the floor below you, or even in your shoes, in your heels, in your toes. This is how we ground. We feel what's beneath us. Or you can even feel how your body rests at the back of the chair, or how you're connected to the floor if you're sitting on the floor with your butt. And as you grow, how will you grow? How will your body move? How will it reach towards the sun or to the sky? As you continue to give yourself affirmations and confirmation, as you receive the love, how does your body move? Will you grow with your arms? Would you stretch up to the sky? Will your hips move? Will you bend backwards? As you continue to feel this love, and you continue to give yourself the nutrients, the water, the good food, the good words, as you see these things coming to play, how does your body move? it's important to know this because we embody these words. I encourage you now to feel this in your heart. Where does it feel in your body? Where does the love feel? Sometimes it isn't all just love and peace. Sometimes a storm comes. So when that storm comes, how does your body move? When that sadness comes, when those hardships come, when work gets too much, how does your body feel? It feels heavy sometimes. You can't keep it up. Sometimes the storm waves us from side to side, craziness, like we have no control. And as you're going from side to side, I would like to remind you that you were rooted. Your feet were planted. And as that storm leaves, you're still there. And as you continue to nurture yourself, replenish yourself, you will begin to grow again. You will reach to the skies. Your body will move how it needs to move with that joy and that love. Or it will stay in calmness with the peace that you have. But always remember that no matter what comes, you are rooted. I invite you to continue to love in yourself, pour into yourself. As you continue to hear all the things that come with this workshop, the jewels, the seed that was planted. Use this information to nourish yourself so that you can grow and feel it in your body, feel the joy. I thank you all for your time again. I hope you continue to learn and get good information from our next presenter and throughout our workshop. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kenya. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Kenya, I don't think that you gave us all of your credentials when you first started. Tell us a little bit about you and what you do.
Yeah, so I am a certified meditation coach. I'm also a yoga instructor. I work with children and as a counselor, and now I work with families with who've been involved in some type of abuse or neglect as a mental health therapist. So I've been in this field for a little over 10 or so years with this particular part, but I've worked with children for a good majority of my professional career in elementary school and in high school and middle school settings. And so I can see the connection and how coming back to ourselves can be so important in our mental health and our emotional well-being, just to be present and just reframe those stories that we have in our heads. You know, sometimes it's just negativity, and we have to just empower ourselves. So that's the kind of the road that I'm going on with, just trying to be there for people in all kind of facets.
Okay, very good. And are you also a author?
Yes, I have written a children's book. It's about a little girl who wants to see the world. So when I grow up, I want to see the world. So she just travels all over the place, and it's about her encounters and her activities. But yes, I have written a children's book.
All right.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Kenya. I know you're a little shy, but we wanted to make sure that, everyone knows, who you are and that you're an expert at what you're doing.
Oh, thank you, Jackie.
There you have it. Thank you again so much, Kenya. See you later. Okay, guys, are y'all enjoying it so far? Really good. So y'all got some movements. And the good thing too, like what Kenya was showing us, the different movements earlier on when we first came on and just now, these are things that you could just do at any place and at any time. If you're at your desk, you could just stop what you're doing, stand up or get down on the floor. If you're at home, it's just time that you can take for yourself. And that's just a form of self-care, being able to take that time for yourself. So I hope that you guys have been enjoying this. And our last presenter, she's coming to you. And, all of them, all the presenters have come to you like with the thunder. I don't know. I said that one time and my kids was like, Mom, don't say that again. But I'm going to say it. They all are coming to you with the thunder with some very good information, very informative. So without further ado, I am bringing in the magnificent and the beautiful Helena Washington. Hey, girl.
Hello, hello, hello. Good evening, good morning, good day.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. Thank you so much for being here with us. I know that you have a very hectic schedule. So for you to be on with us tonight at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time in Texas, we're honored that you're here with us tonight. So I'm going to hop off and let you take it away. Introduce yourself. Tell people who you are. And girl, help us tonight. Help us. See you later.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I am going to upload my presentation, and I'm going to also introduce myself to you all. My name is Helena Washington. There we go. Here I am. My name is Helena Washington, and I will share a little bit more about myself before we start. I have been a mental health professional for almost 30 years. I've been a licensed clinician for 27 years. I am in Houston, Texas, but I service individuals within Texas, internationally, as well as other places within the United States. My focus is mental wellness, and my approach is always looking at things holistically. When I receive a referral from a family or a referral source, meaning a treatment center, I work with a number of treatment programs that refer patients to me. One of the things I want to do, I want to know the total picture. I want to know what's going on with the individual because so many factors impact mental wellness and their healing. If someone's coming to me for addiction, I have a large practice that's focusing on the failure to launch population, meaning that 18 to age 30 young adult population. And I'm also working with those who are just having some adjustment challenges in life and may need, just a little hand holding or a little bit support. The other part to what I do, I have been a trainer for a number of years. I started my training and consulting, began full time in 2001, I'd like to say, when I actually graduated with my master's degree. I have done trainings in a number of places internationally, domestically. I work with a number of organizations. My speaking engagements also include conferences, international organizational trainings, as well as helping and going inside of facilities and treatment programs and nonprofits as well, and creating curriculums, making sure treatment needs are met with more sensitivity to the differences, and teaching staff and the communities that I service or that you all service on how to treat people who are different, understanding those dynamics to make sure you're offering the best care. Now, with that being the case, I would like to go ahead and upload my presentation, and we can go ahead and delve in and have a good time tonight. I love speaking interactively, questions, comments. I just really want to, hang on, trying to launch the slides. Let's see here. This is an amazing opportunity that we are working internationally. Okay, looks like everything's coming through in just a second. We should be launching shortly. The focus tonight that I'm going to speak about is mental wellness and making sure you're setting goals that are realistic and attainable for 2022. And the reason I'm highlighting 2022 is because I feel you all need to reinvent, reassess, and realign with the changes. We are ever evolving, and our goals should change, our focus should change, our priorities change, our life circumstances change. So as a result, I want to, instill the thought process, that you all need to be changing, even within the quarters. If you set those goals, we talk about setting, New Year's resolutions. I'm not a fan of New Year's resolutions. I know they work for some. I like to just look at us setting realistic goals, and those goals should be assessed either, monthly, quarterly, or every 6 months, because you may need to have some adjustments made within that process. You may need to add, you may also realize that those goals are not pertinent to the season that you're walking into. So I am going to talk about those things in just a moment. We are waiting for the slides to launch. My contact information for my social media is listed in the chat box. When you all have a moment, please take an opportunity to locate and follow me on Facebook as well as Instagram. We're waiting on technology, you all, but I'm sure it's worth it. I anticipate it being a wonderful. Let me go ahead and stop it and relaunch it. Let's see here. Okay. While we're waiting for the slides to launch, does anyone have any questions, insight? Where are you in the process of maintaining stability, mental wellness, and where are you struggling? Where are your challenges, and what would you like to obtain tonight during the presentation? This is interesting. Let's see. Okay. This is interesting.
Yes, this is what happened with technology. But hey, y'all, we already know, like Helena said, it is going to be great. Anytime you have challenges like this, we know it's going to be great. We do have, while you're trying to load it on,
There we go.
You got it?
It looks like
Okay.
it's there.
So we do have a couple of comments. Do you want to address those really quickly before you go on? If you see them, let's see, here's one here. Mental wellness and stability is a sensitive place to go. It's seen as weak.
That is a challenge, especially when we look at cultural dynamics. when it comes to us, being forthcoming, sharing, trying to process what we're feeling and questioning what we could be going through. Many times, cultural dynamics, keep us from sharing. The other thing, as far as understanding mental wellness and mental illness, those are two separate things. And we're going to delve right in. Um, I would like to go ahead and start here. Okay, realigning your personal mental wellness goals in 2022. My name is Helena Washington, and I am, I like to call myself a seasoned clinician just because of how long I have been in the field. I am a native of Liberia, West Africa. I came to the United States as a child. My parents immigrated here when I was I was a little girl in the 70s, and all of my formal education has been here in the United States. I launched my practice, my business, Brave Bird Recovery and Wellness, in the early 2000s. And I have, again, as I mentioned in my introduction, focused on mental wellness, training, and education, as well as making sure communities have what they need moving forward. It's just a passion. And one of the things I pride myself on is the fact that my greatest professional takeaway is I love watching and seeing the healing that takes place with families, individuals, and the growth within communities. Now, the objectives today is understanding what is mental wellness and what is mental health. When we talk about mental health, we oftentimes will take a look at mental illness. um, I want you all to understand the variation, and I also want you to know that the two can coexist. I want us to reassess, redefine, refresh, and realign our focus and our purpose. Mental wellness goals for 2022 is the ultimate. I would like to jump right in and understand that mental illness is defined as it's a health condition. It's not a sign of weakness. And I want us to work on changing our narrative. I want us to change the language that we use. When we don't acknowledge the fact that our brain is a part of our body, if our brain is not healthy, it is okay to seek help. It is okay to speak on it. It is okay to claim the fact that I feel something is wrong. I'm seeing that something is wrong. I am hearing that something is wrong. And it's causing disruptions in your everyday life. Mental illnesses are also associated with distress, problems functioning socially, professionally, and with your family. And that's according to the Psychiatric Association. Also, NAMI wants to highlight mental illness as a condition where a person suffers, where it affects a person's thinking, feeling, and their mood. These events can change the quality of your life. I would like for you to take a look at some common warning signs of mental illness: feeling very sad or withdrawn for more than 2 weeks, trying to harm or end your life, having thoughts of self-harm, suicidal ideation. I want you to understand, taking a look at how you're eating, how are you sleeping? Are you having challenges sleeping? Are you having problems turning it off? Are you feeling beyond apprehensions to where anxiety may be taking over or causing you not to experience life to its fullest? Do you have significant weight loss or weight gain? Do you feel as though you're hearing, seeing, smelling things that are not there, or that maybe no one else can notice? One of the other coping mechanisms that I would like to also highlight: the excessive use of alcohol and drugs, increasing your use. The reason this is important, especially dealing with the pandemic, we saw an uptake of substance use, especially alcohol, at rates that were just flying, through the roof. Women at one point, they were highlighting that women's substance use, mainly alcohol, had gone, more than 300%. The other thing is drastic changes in your concentration? Are you able to sit still? Are you fidgety? Are you having problems concentrating on daily tasks in school, at home? And are you noticing any of these signs in your loved ones? I want to be clear and highlight that again. Are you also noticing these signs in your loved ones? If so, please reach out to a mental health professional, reach out to your healthcare provider that can lead you in the right direction. And I also want to say one more thing. If your brain is having some struggles, please see a brain doctor. If you're having breast issues, you will go to a breast specialist. Men, if you are having issues with prostate, you will go to a urologist. Please go to a brain doctor. If you do not have one, you can please reach out to me. You can reach out to various organizations in your community, such as NAMI, the National Alliance for Mental Illness. You can Google, you can contact your insurance agency, and you can also reach out to your faith leaders. Churches have resources because many mental health advocates, as well as clinicians, we are working with our faith leaders to make sure the church has the resources, or your houses of faith have the resources. You know, there's power in prayer, but if someone is having a major physical illness that people can see or feel, you're going to pray and you're going to get treatment. It is okay to do the same for your brain health. Mental wellness defined. Let's delve right on in. Mental wellness is the lifelong process and proactive strategy to strengthen your mental, your emotional, your social, and your psychological resources. These resources are sensitive to you, sensitive to your needs, sensitive to your wants, your objectives, your goals, the direction you want to go, and the things you may want to leave behind and stop looking in that rearview mirror. The absence of mental illness is usually primary. And second, as I mentioned when we were trying to launch the slides, please be aware that mental wellness and mental illness can coexist together. And we will talk further about that. Some dynamics when we talk about mental wellness. Let's talk about the mental, how we think, how we view things, our worldview, how we process information, how we use that information. Are we using it to our benefit? Are we using it to uplift others? Are we using it to uplift our communities? The emotional aspect behind it. How are we feeling with all of this? How do we manage? How do we express our emotions? I like to speak very animatedly. I love to speak with my hands because it brings me joy. It makes my points come across. Emotional wellness, one of the things that I will highlight also, when my friends or those who are close to me see I'm more relaxed, they will ask, "Are you okay? What's going on?" And I will clearly say, "I'm exhausted. I'm worn out," or "I just need a break. I'm practicing some self-care." It is okay to assess yourself and highlight it openly and honestly. Socially, how are we connecting? What is the value of our relationships? How do we mold? How do we, grow with those relationships? How do we nurture those relationships with others? Psychological, how we act or function, or how we put pieces together, taking the external pieces, and internalizing them. How do we make decisions? How do we move forward? I would like to take a moment, and if anyone would like these slides, please let me know. When I talk about mental wellness, I'm not reading all of the information in the slides, but I would like to highlight intellectual wellness, financial wellness, which I do cover here tonight, emotional wellness, cultural wellness, what's going on culturally, what's going on in our communities, what impact does our culture have on us? Are we trying to live up to cultural norms? Have we assimilated to different environments, new countries, new communities, for work, for opportunities? Maybe we're dealing with a refugee situation. God bless the people of Ukraine, because now there's a refugee situation there. Culturally, what is going on with you, and how is it impacting you with your decision making? Culturally, are you enjoying various cultures that are different from yours that can bring joy and also enhance your mental wellness. Occupational wellness, we talk about that professionally. Physical wellness, every aspect of this presentation tonight from all of the speakers, we all discuss physical wellness. I want to discuss physical wellness because you can have physical symptoms as a result of poor mental health and mental wellness. Environmental wellness refers to our relationship with our physical surroundings. How are we living? Are we living in pollution? Are we living in devastation? Are we going through, tragedy? Are we going through, national disasters? How are we responding to those things? What is going on within your household? When we talk about environmental, are you living in a place of peace, of cleanliness? I also want to highlight some of the emotional toll that poor environmental wellness can bring about. There can be issues with food insecurities. There's also issues with poverty. Those are all components when we take a look at environmental wellness as far as social wellness, moving into that area. Social wellness connects us. How do we protect our well-being and strengthen and lengthen our lives with the people we allow in our space? How do we share ourselves with those around us? How do we connect with those socially? Who is a part of your tribe? You heard me mention that before in the previous presentation. Tribes are important. And I also believe you can have various tribes for various areas of your life. And we will talk about that. Let's delve right on in when we talk about spiritual wellness. Spiritual wellness is being connected to something greater than yourself and having a set of values, principles, morals, and beliefs. And it also provides a sense of purpose and meaning for your life when you're using these principles that can offer guidance to your life. What does that guidance look like? It offers balance, okay? I love to use the term harmony, and I talk about that later in the presentation. The reason I reference harmony is when sometimes we stress ourselves out or we cause ourselves to have higher levels of anxiety as well as those around us. Spiritual balance and wellness can offer some sense of homeostasis and stability. I like to look at harmony versus balance sometimes, when we want to interchange those words. I like to look at the waves of the ocean because when we think of balance, sometimes we like to look at the scales. Things will outweigh themselves at times. This is where we cause increased anxiety in various areas of our lives. Harmony, I like to talk about, are like the waves of the ocean. All the waves ebb and flow. They all have purpose. The bigger waves are just as important as the small waves, but they flow together. They function. They learn to work together, and they offer peace. Guidance. What direction are we going? Sometimes when we pray and we talk to God, we talk to our spiritual leaders, those things can offer us levels of guidance depending on what word you're reading. We can enhance our guidance by stepping into the Bible. Various areas of recovery, people believe in Buddhist principles that can help nurture their connection to God, healing, and their recovery from substance use disorder or from mental illness. Unlock creativity, refresh your ideas and your resourcefulness. When you are connected and have that spiritual energy, I believe and I feel and I have conversations when I am feeling really connected to God, or even when I'm off balance and I still reach out, I feel I gain the strength, the fortitude to keep moving, and my ideas flow. My energy flows. It gives me the guidance. It gives me the balance. That guidance to reach out to people who are like-minded. When you're stuck, how do you get out of that rut? Sometimes all it does, step back, breathe, just breathe, connect to God. Make sure you have your spiritual purse in place. And it also connects in all areas of your life, professionally, physically, financially, with your family. It connects in all areas of your life. Let's talk about family, and we talk about mental wellness. One of the things that can, kind of help you, move through, family, especially as we go back to levels of normalcy, with the pandemic, we all had to learn how to spend, wonderful time with each other all day long. We were working, we were trying to educate our children. We were also trying to bring their health and wellness to the forefront, making sure they were okay, while making sure you were getting everything done you needed as the parent or the professional who had to work from home or who may have experienced some type of job loss. Within family, let's focus on the love. Let's focus on patience. Let's focus on the gratitude. You know, the stress sometimes can really supersede and overshadow the wonderful things that our families can bring. If you are dealing with, financial struggles, there's ways to work through those things. When I'm thinking about parenting skills, when I'm thinking about our attitudes and our cultural pieces when it comes to managing our families, it is okay to step back and say, I need to really implement a village approach here. I know some of us are feeling disconnected from that approach, but I want us to be intentional and learn how to create new avenues of connectivity. Zoom became everyone's best friend when it was time for us to connect when we were shut down. Zoom has continued to be an outlet for us to reach out to our family and friends throughout the world. I know I enjoy Zooming, I enjoy Teams, I enjoy, all aspects of the connectivity. But we still need the connection of a hug. We still need the embrace. We still need touch. When we talk about Maslow's needs of hierarchy, the hierarchy of needs, those things are important. Love is pivotal. How we show love, how we feel love, how we embrace love, all make a difference. I would like to also ask, if you have never done this with your family and your loved ones, I would like to ask that we start doing needs assessments and communicate better within our household and with our families in general. Needs assessments are not just for the business world or for the clinical world. Needs assessment can consist of weekly planning, maybe developing, a schedule of meals where various members of the family can step up and say, I'm going to cook dinner on Wednesday. I'm going to plan our outdoor activity for Friday. Can we have movie night on Saturday? Can we do game night on Friday? The hustle and bustle of returning to work and school, kids' schedules, sickness, still trying to maintain our mental wellness, dealing with the pandemic. We need to step back and understand, how can we better connect with our family? Family check-ins are a part of those needs assessments. What are family check-ins? Individualize your time and attention with each member of your family, even if it's just 15 minutes, even if it's a walk to the mailbox with your youngest, even if it's walking the dog with your teenager, even if it's sitting down. You guys, I'm one of my goals for this year is to become, I'm going to go viral on TikTok. In my head, that's reality. Okay, I'm just joking, y'all. If you knew me, that's a joke. But how are we, developing new habits? Social media has been a major outlet for families. You see grandparents, you see great grandparents chiming in. We have, we have new babies in our family. I'm a grandmother, so I enjoy my granddaughter. I have a new niece. I have new nephews. I embrace all of those dynamics. How can we develop new habits to make sure everyone feels a part of, feels connectivity? How do we show love? How do we make sure everyone's needs within our families are being met? Everyone has different needs. And I would love for families to really realize that, as busy as we get, we have to sit down and make sure we individualize time for each family member, with your partner, with your husband, with each child. Please make it a habit, as difficult as it can be, even if it's in the morning, before school, after school. It's pivotal that we make those efforts to make those come to fruition. Let's talk about social wellness. According to Mental Health America, having a network of support based on interdependence, mutual trust, respect, develop sensitivity and awareness towards each other's feelings. I want to highlight a couple of different things here. Social wellness, I would like to say let's step outside of our family. And I know sometimes our professional and social can kind of intertwine at times. But I would like for you to take a look at how do you, excuse me, how do you build and maintain healthy relationships? What does that mean? How do we assess seasonal relationships? Seasonal relationships could be, hey, this relationship I'm in with my partner is not working. We're growing in different ways. Maybe we can figure out a way to reestablish. If you're new to the dating scene, because I know that was a challenge. I had many conversations with people in all age groups. Single adults were struggling, and I also found some single adults that connected virtually, and they're still in very healthy relationships and were able to connect I can't say completely post pandemic, but they were able to connect when things got better. Seasonal relationships can also be assessed. Long-standing relationships, if they have shifted, and the importance and what you're getting from that relationship, if it's against your values, we are always evolving. We're ever evolving individuals. Please assess every relationship in your life. Do not compromise yourself to stay in unhealthy relationships that compromise your values, that hurt you, and they do not feed your spirit. Let's qualify relationships. We don't talk about that enough. What does qualifying a relationship mean? Sometimes we have to compartmentalize things. This person here is my professional friend. This person is my professional personal friend. This person is just one of my dearest friends. I can share some of my most intimate, conversations, talk about those things. I would like to say every single day, there's 4 of us. We all met in college. Every day, we're laughing in a chat. We cry in a chat. We send faith. We send encouragement. We talk about our families. We highlight the things that scare us. And we also talk about our shortcomings. Every single day we communicate. That is what I mean by qualifying your relationships. The friend who is your professional friend, that comes with boundaries because of the fact that is in the workplace. How do you connect socially with those boundaries, with those who you work with? It's okay. Have lunch, go to dinner. One of the things I tell people, be careful with happy hour, because you never know how people will interact when you mix alcohol with your professional friends. So make sure you have very clear boundaries. I want to talk about boundaries for a moment. Boundaries are for you, not for the other people. Boundaries are things that you put in place to protect your mental wellness, your peace. So no one disrupts your boundaries. You're, taking you out of your element. We tend to use that term loosely, when we talk about boundaries. We think it's setting boundaries of parenting. I'm setting this boundary. You don't do your chores, you can't go somewhere. That's a different type of boundary. That's a consequence reward system. That's not really a boundary. When we say that word boundary, I work in a profession where we talk about boundaries, and sometimes that line gets blurred when you talk about someone who may have, who may be active in their addiction, or someone who may be, reacting to their mental health symptoms. They need to have boundaries. Boundaries, again, are for you, how you choose to handle that situation, how you choose to allow that individual in your space, how much you choose to give to that situation. So please understand and really dig into what your boundaries are. Your boundaries are sometimes rooted in your belief system. When we talk about our moral codes, which do change. Some folks like to say that it doesn't. Our basic foundations tend to stay the same, but when we're looking at building relationships, your moral code can change because society changes, and you're going to have to bend with those changes to make sure mentally you're adapting appropriately to keep yourself healthy. One of the things I also like to talk about is who is a part of your tribe. What does that look like? This picture here is an example of who is my tribe. I have male, I have female, who are a part of my tribe. They all serve their purpose in my life, and I hopefully serve a purpose in their lives. What does that mean? How do we uphold each other? How do we develop that trust? How do we respect each other? How are we sensitive to each other's feelings, especially when we cross those lines of possibly hurting? You don't want to injure the people you love, but there are times maybe our words, our facial expressions, our body language, or our decisions may compromise the relationships. Instead of just walking away and just saying, I'm throwing in the towel, step in, step out of yourself and step into the situation and talk about it. Rediscover new strengths, new weaknesses that you need to work through. Do not walk away from your social interactions because of fear, insecurity, or feeling limitless. Discuss those things before you step away. That is how you decide the quality and if you want to stay in those relationships. Let's talk about professional workplace wellness. I do have a video that I hope will play. We're not going to listen to the entire video for time's sake, but you can also find the video on TED Talks. But I want to talk about imposter syndrome because we hear this term so much. It's thrown around, so much, especially with women and especially with Black women. Imposter syndrome can be defined as a collection of feelings of inadequacy, feeling you're not good enough, not accepting, compliments. And a lot of it can come from how the work environment is bred, but it can also be a part of, self-esteem, self-worth, or questioning your skill set and your ability. If you know what you bring to the table, if you know what skill set you have, I want you to stand tall. I don't want you seeking perfection. Perfectionism causes us to be ill. Perfectionism tends to be rooted in a lot of shame. I don't want you focusing on perfectionism, and I'm not going to get into the shame and the guilt because that's a clinical talk, but I do want you to understand the root of perfection tends to be so, really, really related to shame, which is also based on other people's expectations of you. So I really want you to pay attention and really delve into further what imposter syndrome is, because it is causing mental disruptions, it's causing physical reactions, and it just kind of keeps you in a very, very unhealthy place when it comes to professionalism, which will bleed into other areas of your life. Let's see here. I'm wondering if we're going to be able to play the video. We may not be able to play the video, but I would like for you, I can put the link, share the information with you all. If you reach out to me, it is a really, really great example of what imposter syndrome is. Okay. I'm not sure if the video will play, but I can share the information with you. Let's talk about financial wellness. The pandemic has brought on a lot of unexpected stress. The pandemic was unexpected, even though research has shown that something possibly could happen to us within the world. Financial wellness was really compromised through the pandemic. We had a lot of job loss. We had a great deal of individuals struggling, financially, job loss, working from home, trying to make ends meet, issues with childcare with those returning to work. Many folks are having a difficult time, as far as paying their bills, getting back on their feet. And also let's talk about, those who are financially savvy. Emotional stress associated with money, you are not the sum of your financial status. Too many times, people will allow their financial situation to really define and disrupt their everyday life because of the internal conflict that it creates. People feel judged, they criticize themselves, They measure themselves to everyone else around them. Sometimes people do not even know how to get out of the situation that they're in, and they become embarrassed. They deal with shame. And a lot of the times, even within your households, it causes additional stress on top of the parenting and everyday life. You start to have physical reactions. Our stress manifests itself within our immune system, which starts in our gut. We see so many folks who have physical reactions to the stressors around them with digestive problems. They're also having issues with their immune system not functioning properly because of their physical reactions to the stressors around them. Please take a look at what financial wellness is. Take classes, reach out. Your bank can offer you some support. Redefining and setting new goals. Please do not think because I'm not able to save $500 a week does not mean you cannot start saving $5 or $10 a week to meet those goals. There's so many different avenues, when you look at people digging into the retirement, during pandemic, some folks are digging into the retirement to help redefine themselves with a new career or starting a new business. If you are struggling in this area, please do not internalize that to where you become physically ill and that stress disrupts every area of your life. Please seek help and you can get better. It is never too late to improve your financial wellness. Let's talk about creating harmony and setting mental wellness goals. And what does that mean? Mental wellness is daily. We have to have daily routines. We have to implement things, have structure to our day, have structure to our lives. We cannot just wake up every single day and go to bed at night, leave our beds unmade, walk around and just say, I'm going to go to work, come home, cook dinner, go to bed. Start with some peace. Create an atmosphere of internal and external peace. Connect with God. Start with prayer. It is okay to wake up 15 to 30 minutes early. I know some of us, I wake up at 5:15 every morning because I still have a child home who's in high school. Find time to connect before you start your day, before you begin your tasks. That can be meditation. That can be yoga. That can just be sitting down, listening to some type of meditation. There's so many apps. We walk around with a computer in our hand every day. All day long, we have a computer. There are apps that we can use. There are things that we can do for breathing exercises. We had some phenomenal breathing exercises, and I love it. I love doing my breathing exercises, and I also have an app at night after I say my prayers. I love to listen to my little sleep app, and it does help me, sit down and think. It tells you to do certain things. While you're breathing, you can physically feel as you're doing these things lying in your bed. At the end of a long day, I had a phenomenal week, but I was a bit worn out yesterday. I was speaking to my friend Jackie, and I are very good friends. I had to share with Jackie, I was just really worn out. And we talk about those things, bounce things off of the folks that you love, that care about you. I don't have any sisters, but I have sister friends that I love and they love me. So we talk about these things. It's okay to talk about your daily routines. Set realistic daily goals. Plan to-do lists. Yes, your to-do list. If you have any artificial intelligence, you can talk to Siri, you can talk to Alexa, you can talk to Google. Plan your to-do list. Yesterday, as I was trying to get things together, ending my day, I added 5 things to my to-do list by asking Alexa to add them to it. And it came right to my phone to where I'm able to work through it. The one thing I also would like to talk about when I talk about daily routines, and this is something I talk about, everything here I also share with my clients. Give yourself some grace. We can have 15 to 20 items on that to-do list. If we only get to 14 of them, it is okay. You're not going to cause yourself some serious stress. Put your to-do list and your daily goals in a particular order. And if you do not finish them all, today is today. You still have tomorrow to start over and do it again. Make sure the things that need the attention, the immediacy, make sure you address those things. Everything else If I don't get to Sam's or Costco's to pick up a roll of paper towels, I can do it tomorrow. If I don't get to the gas station to fill my gas tank up because I'm just, I live in Houston, Texas. If you've ever been in Houston, our traffic can be interesting, is the best way I can say it. I just want to get home sometimes. I will get my gas tomorrow. Give yourself some grace. If I was not the best parent today, and maybe I didn't respond the way I think after I'm reflecting, I should have responded differently to my daughter. I should have responded differently to my dog. I should have responded differently to that lady in the Walmart line. Maybe I didn't see things clearly as I was, ingesting the information. It is okay to sit back and reflect and make those changes. And also, you can go back and you can fix the hurt or the wound that you may have caused because of the fact you're not giving yourself grace and you're becoming overwhelmed. Go back, have those conversations, offer some peace, love, and understanding. You have to give yourself grace. Stay out of that area of perfection because it does keep people ill. Let's also talk about redefining your passion. If you follow me anytime I post, I always talk about reassessing. I always talk about realigning. I talk about refreshing, and I talk about redefining after you follow those steps. Redefine what your goals and your passions are. One of the things that I love hearing conversations about right now, the pandemic has taken a toll. Many of us have lost loved ones. We've lost income. Many of us have lost opportunities. Many of us are still reeling from political aspects of it that we ingest, that I really want us to stop ingesting the things and all the chatter around us. Sit back. How can we redefine our passion, our purpose? What does that mean? I think this time, as we enter into 2022, we have an opportunity to really take a look. Wow, what strengths did I just notice that I possessed that I may have let, lie dormant? I never tapped into those talents. How can those things bring joy and peace to my life? Sit down, write things down. Talk about those things with, certain circles, develop those circles. Realign your goals, your new goals, redefine those things. Create new ideas of passions where it will cause you to have moments of peace. Make sure you're taking more walks. Be intentional with the way you eat. Be intentional with going to sleep. One of the things all of our cell phones do, I don't care if you have an Android or if you have an Apple phone, Samsung, Google, they all have the ability to give us, timers for going to bed. We wear Apple Watches, we wear Fitbits, we wear all of these things. Our phones also have wellness guides to us. Sit back, time it, schedule those moments. I have clients that I have them take breaks 4 times a day. They start their day off in the morning with a routine. Lunchtime, there's a routine. By 3 p.m., they have a routine. By 6 p.m., they have a routine. And then they have their bedtime routine. That is what helps them. I am really big on brain health. I am big on getting with your healthcare provider, making sure you're taking supplements, especially if you have not been taking care of yourself and you are coming out of substance use and active addiction. If you have been struggling with your mental health and maybe your depression or your anxiety has caused you to revert, and become introverted to where you're not eating properly or you're eating a lot of junk, depending on what, substances or your medications that you're taking. Talk to your doctor if you're noticing changes in your system, in your body. Our body gives us signs. Our body's symptoms, we have to listen to our bodies. Make sure that those things are defined and those things are addressed on a day-to-day basis. Making sure you have an exercise routine, even if it's just walking. Talk to your healthcare provider as to what that means. The more you exercise, cardio, yoga, those things are great for brain health. It attacks various chemicals in the brain. That's another conversation, and I do trainings on that. But there's certain chemicals in our brain that require us to have exercise. It requires us to have a balanced meal. It requires us, to maintain health. One of the things that, I've talked to some of my friends and some of my medical practitioners, they often share how some of them are struggling, depending on, the tests and different things that they're taking. Why am I struggling with fertility? Why am I struggling with high blood pressure? Why am I struggling, why is my diabetes and I'm borderline diabetic? How are these things impacted by our mental wellness that can also lead into unhealthy mental issues, causing us to have mental illness? Okay. If you are experiencing signs and symptoms for more than 2 weeks or more, beyond, the typical grief, beyond the typical sadness of losing someone or losing a job, if you are starting to isolate, if you are not finding things that brought pleasure to you, if you are struggling for more than 2 to 3 weeks, or sometimes even a month, please seek help. It is okay to get a therapist. Okay. It is very, very, acceptable. I know in certain cultures, the individual mention, a weakness. Many times, depending on your culture and your community and also your faith, because I know, I'm a Christian. Some of our Christians have to change the language. Yes, we can find scriptures that can lift us every day in our daily routines. But if you physically are feeling symptoms, please seek your healthcare provider and find a therapist or someone that you can talk to that can kind of help lead you in the right direction. One of the other things I would like to do, I like to say, positive affirmations. I don't know if any of you here watched the show Mary Jane. One of the topics of the discussion when that show came out was, her sticky notes all over her bathroom window or the mirror in her room, on her bed. Sometimes we need those affirmations. I have some affirmations here on my bookshelf. I have some here. I have things, in various places. Every day, when you start journaling, and I'm going to talk about journaling, identify an affirmation for that day. You have positive affirmations that you can have up, whether it's a painting, whether it's a sign that you can look at and reflect upon every day. But every single day, going along with your daily routine and in defining what your goals are, give yourself a positive affirmation. It is okay for you to let yourself know you are beautiful. Mary J. Blige has a new song, and I love that song. And that is all she is doing, is affirming who she is. Make sure we're looking at gratitude lists. Kind of reflect daily. If you don't have time to do it in the morning, at nighttime, before you go to bed, to allow yourself to have some inner peace. Show gratitude. Be grateful. Thank you, God, for a beautiful day. Thank you for the hurdles that I'm still learning how to cross. Thank you for not having any hurdles today. Thanking for being grateful for today just being everything that you needed it to be. You know, um, be grateful for the family. I don't care how stressful your family is. I don't care how imperfect your family is. I think all of us come from a world of imperfect families. We all learn how to function within our dysfunction. And some of that dysfunction can, bring us joy, laughter. Some of it will guide us in the directions where we need to, strengthen certain skills and certain qualities within our household. But make sure you utilize gratitude lists to help keep you grounded, to kind of help define what direction you want to go. Also, gratitude list helps you define your needs, your wants, and your needs. It helps you understand those things and distinguish the difference. It also helps you value everything that you have presented in your lap at the current moment. Journaling. I love journaling exercises. Everyone I work with has a journal, and they pull it out when we, before every session that I have. We do wellness checks. Depending on what their situation is, it's always individualized. Depending on what the situation is, I also do it within my own personal space. I want you to highlight how you slept. If you had trouble sleeping, what did you eat? Think back the night before. Maybe I had that, had one too many drinks. Alcohol can keep you up. Maybe I ate something that caused me to have indigestion. Maybe I need to cut that caffeine out, after 12 p.m. versus 6 p.m. Maybe I need to, take a look at the time that I exercise. Maybe I'm working too long and I'm not allowing myself to sit back and relax. How am I eating, drinking? Am I drinking enough water? Journal those things. It helps you assess your growth. It also helps you highlight areas that you need to work on. How did I communicate with those around me? Whatever brought you to me, I always make sure that we highlight those things in journaling. Let's set some goals, and then let's set some daily goals as to accomplish, the growth, the healing that you want to obtain. Okay. How was my work? How did I respond to my loved one? How did I do this? The other thing is, I had a wonderful day. I stopped and smelled the flowers. I enjoyed the rain. I sat on my patio and watched the rain. I watched a movie, outside on my patio today, and I just enjoyed the fresh air. Or I went swim, whatever it may be. I want you to take a look at that and monitor your growth. Today, I accomplished 10 out of 10 tasks. Tomorrow, I plan to increase those tasks to 12. Today, I accomplished 12 of my 15 tasks. Journaling can help you assess and take a look at where you are with your growth. One of the other things I like to do, volunteer. Volunteerism can bring you peace. It can give you, warmth. It shows, it helps develop, your character. Volunteer if you are an animal person, volunteer at an animal shelter. Food banks, your church, volunteer, assisting someone, offering tutoring services, offer to walk or take the trash out for a neighbor who may not be doing well. Check on people, just volunteer. Volunteerism is important. It's something that I've always enjoyed doing. I like to say right now I haven't had the greatest amount of time, but I find other ways to give. Whether it's volunteering to help an organization with their staff, whether it's helping the families within an organization that I might be working with, I do find ways to give back. It gives me peace, it gives me comfort, and it just also connects me to my higher power and my purpose. One of the things that I love to do is laugh. I have a teenager at home. I'm the mother of 3. I have brothers. I have a funny family. If you follow me on Facebook, on my personal Facebook page, my dad is almost 80 years old, but somebody introduced him to Snapchat, and we are all really in that entertainment. Laugh, whether it's a movie, whether it's with your children, whether it's with your pet. One of the things I shared with someone the other day, they asked me what movies, bring peace and laughter to me. I love the movie Crooklyn. It reminds me of my childhood in the 70s, except I grew up in Toledo, Ohio, and Crooklyn's set in Brooklyn, New York. The other thing that brings me peace when I watch movies, I don't care how many times I watch these 2 movies, Crooklyn and My Big Fat Greek Wedding. If I know I need a good laugh, I know that I'm going to get it from those movies. I love cultural movies. I love watching things that are attached to other people's culture. I love learning, and I find joy in those things. I also love laughing with my kids. We have our own, again, here I am with technology. My son lives in another state. My daughter is on her own with her family, and we have one here. We have our own family chat. We share TikToks. When my kids and I are together, I'm the joke around here. I've made my TikTok debut with my children. We laugh about it. Laughter really, really releases some great chemicals in the brain, as well as hugging. Hugging and laughing release so many wonderful chemicals in the brain that's great for wellness. And again, I'm going to end this part before I go to the next slide. Therapy. It is okay to get therapy. It is okay to seek a therapeutic support group. It is okay to pull someone aside at church, at your, place of worship. It is not a sign of weakness. It is not a sign of failure. It is not a moral failure of you as a parent, as an individual, as a professional. If you need therapy, and you do not feel your best self, sometimes you may need a life coach. Life coaches and therapists are 2 separate things. There are many therapists that have crossed the line into life coaching, but those services need to be defined when you do enter that realm. Please do not shy away from therapy, regardless of what culture you come from. I know many will say it's a Western thing. It's, people of color will often say we don't do that. I know sometimes when we talk about gender specific challenges, men, may think it's a sign of weakness. There's so many groups for men, especially men of color, to help get them out. We cannot continue to stuff. We cannot continue to keep moving and act as though everything's okay. I don't think we're going to be able to play the slide, the video, but for time's sake, I would like to wrap up and go into some questions before we shut down. I do see a few in the chat. I thank you all for being here tonight. And I know some of you may be watching this on demand, but I thank you very much for being a part of this event tonight. If you would like to reach me, my contact information is in the chat. And I would like to comment on a couple of the comments here. How do I get myself to communicate and listen to myself? One of the things I can encourage you to do is journaling privately. Also, if we are assessing ourselves, sometimes when others around us see things that we may not see, let's listen. Let's kind of step back and assess what could be going on, because we don't always see things within ourselves. The other thing I would like to say, follow your gut. Sometimes you can feel, if you are prayerful, sometimes things will come to you. Prayerful. Let me go back to that. Not everybody should be praying for you. You don't know everybody's spirit, I like to talk about that for a moment. Do not, and I talked to some folks who put that on Facebook. Please pray, everyone, please pray. I will never put that on social media, because not everyone's spirit is aligned with what your belief system is. So be careful with that. But I would like for you to start really having more self-confidence, building your self-confidence, and really start listening to yourself, communicating with the support system. I have one more comment. I feel bad myself, and I failed to keep up my to-do list. You have to give yourself grace when I mention that. If you fail to keep up with your to-do list, depending on what's going on with you, I want you to develop ways that motivate you. If you know you need to clean, and what's going to keep you cleaning and keep you moving, sometimes you need to turn that music on and keep it moving. If you are struggling with studying, having challenges with work, step back. Sometimes we need to interject breaks into those situations. But I want you to reevaluate the importance of the things on your list. How can I reorder my priorities? How do I move forward from there? Do not internalize the fact that you did not accomplish everything that you think you were supposed to set out for the day. You have to give yourself some grace. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Helena. This was so good. Every time you present, you have so much good information. It's like we need a whole day just to dive into this and just break everything down. But you did an awesome job of sharing and breaking everything down. And there were so many takeaways and things I had, but a couple of them was the spiritual wellness. I really enjoyed that part, because it is important for us to incorporate prayer.
Yes.
Because as you and I both know, prayer changes things.
Yes.
And so, for you to talk about that and incorporate that with your presentation and even your clients, to let them know, yes, it's okay to pray, but you also need some therapy, and you may need some medication.
Yes.
You may need that too. So I really like that. And another one was perfection is rooted in shame. That was really good. And, at another time, I really would love for you to just really get into that and break that down more on the shame aspect of it. And let's see. Oh, and stress. We already know that stress has a lot to do with things that go on with us, our health. And I've even experienced that, to where I have had so many problems with my stomach. And I think I've shared that with you. Yeah. And I have had different tests and colonoscopies. And just recently, probably in December, the first part of December, I had another procedure done to go in to see what's going on with my stomach. And each time I have been told, there's nothing wrong with you.
Yes.
And right. And so it is definitely stress. So I have been learning to do different things like journaling. I like to journal. And again, like even with Kenya doing like the meditations and just replaying the scriptures in my mind, meditating on the scriptures and listening to praise and worship and, you know, just different things to help me to relieve that stress. And I started working out. You know, I don't do it every day. So the person that made that comment about the to-do list, yeah, that's on my to-do list. I don't do it every day, but you know, I really try to get there. So those are some really good tips and nuggets that you gave, and about the family time, you know, incorporating that. I mean, like I said, it was so much. I took so many notes on that, and that was so good. So do we have any? I don't think we have any other comments.
Yes, this is amazing. And I know we're international, and I love it. I love the dynamic women that, for us to come together to make this happen. Please share if you are part of this tonight. I have it on my Facebook, share it. It's on YouTube. I know not everyone is available to watch. There's a big event here in Houston tonight within the mental health community. I was invited to, and I know there were people who had reached out and texted me, because they're attending that. I said it will be available to you later. So I do have family members and friends. My mother was not able. She had some technological issues in Liberia. And she was not able. She called right before, and I did talk to her, and I said, I understand. Yeah, I said, it will be here when you are able to connect. So please share this with all that you can. This was a wonderful opportunity, and hopefully you guys can join us in the future.
Yes, absolutely. Helena, I don't know if y'all were with us last October, but Helena was with us last year, October, what was 2021? She was one of our presenters as well, and it was just really great. I'm going to just briefly bring on all of our presenters, just for them to give us one last word. One last word. They have 1 minute. 1 minute, but one last word. So I'm gonna bring everybody back on. Let's see. Okay, I think I have us all on now. All right, so we're gonna start with Kenya. We'll go in the order of how y'all presented. And so share one last word with us, as well as how people can get in contact with you. Again, we will be putting that in the chat information, but still I would like for y'all to share that. So we'll have Kenya, Dr. Cheri, Nina, and then Helena.
Thank you again. So I guess to conclude, I would just like to remind everybody to be aware of our thoughts and how they do manifest in our body, and how they contribute to how we behave and how we interact and how we feel about ourselves. So be positive with yourself. It was said just a second ago, give yourself grace. Nurture back into yourself. Put the love back into yourself, so that you you feel going forward, feel good, and feel full. If you need to reach me for whatever reason, or just want to send a message, I can be reached at Counselor Author Coach on Instagram, or first name last name Kenya Boyd on Facebook. Thank you.
Hi, guys. Okay, so after watching all these phenomenal ladies, I realized I never introduced myself, gave a background or anything. So that's what I'm going to take my 1 minute to do. And of course, as said, I am Dr. Cheri Hayes. I hail from the island of St. Lucia, and I am an administrator in one of the high schools over here in the Pacific in Okinawa. And I'm also a brand partner, as Jackie shared the advertisement, with Savvy. I'm an author of 3 children's books, more to come, more to come, and also was just named the chairman for Julie's Haven. So I think in all the work that I've done and all the work that I think I will continue to do, It will be to continue to advocate for myself as well as to advocate for those who cannot advocate for themselves. And when I consider all of the presentations and all of the different formats that it was shared today, at the end of the day, just put yourself first. Thank you.
Hello again, everyone. Good evening and good morning. So, I just wanted to take this quick minute to just remind you that it's okay if all of this information feels overwhelming. It's okay if this workshop gave you so much ideas to start to work on, but you feel like you don't know where to start. So my advice for you is, because we have so many amazing speakers tonight and today, we have so many amazing topics, so many amazing new concepts that we have learned, so many new ideas and new strategies that we can implement. I encourage you to just take one thing and run with that, because I understand that it can get overwhelming. It can get um, very, because sometimes when we have so much things to do, you not do anything at all. So take one thing and focus on that, and then later on, you can review this video and then take another thing and then another thing and then another thing, and that's how you will be constantly be able to advocate for yourself and advocate for your wellness, whether it's physical, spiritual, mental, and all the other paradigms. So that's it. And once again, thank you so much for joining us today.
I will keep it short and sweet. I would love for everyone to stand tall in your truth and grow from that point moving forward. Thank you all for tonight. You're on mute. Jackie, you're on mute.
I'm on mute. I'll mute myself. Thank you all so much, everyone, for joining us on tonight. The ladies, they left us with some very good tips, and I loved all of them. But I really loved the one, too, of what Nina said, is that there was so much information. So do not feel like you have to do everything at one time. Just take your time, digest everything, and just work your way onto whatever that you're trying to do, and to stand in your truth and to step out. Y'all, some of us stepped out tonight. We stepped out of our comfort zones and did some things that we normally would not do. So step out of your comfort zone, because you will be amazed at what you can do and what you can accomplish if you just step out and you have faith and you believe in yourself and what you are doing. And everything that all of our presenters talked about tonight was in line of all of that, in with self-care, taking care of yourself, mind, body, and advocacy. We so appreciate you taking time to be here with us on tonight, and in the morning. For some, we thank you for being here with us. We look forward to you guys joining us again. We will be doing it again. But before we end, I do want to just spotlight our women entrepreneurs that we were spotlighting tonight earlier. I just want to go ahead and share them with you again. And we ask that you would support these ladies and that you would shop with them, and share their information. So the first one is going to be me, your girl, Jackie O, and I have an organic skincare line, and we have the whole line, which is a cleanser, toner, moisturizer. We have a calming butter, a cuticle serum, a beard serum, and we have a facial serum. And so you can find us at JackieO.com. That is our website. You can follow us on Instagram at Jackie O, subscribe to our YouTube channel at Jackie O. You can also follow us on Facebook at Jackie O Blog. We have a lot of great things that's going on with Jackie O. We have the Motivational Monday. We have a cooking show. We have a whole lot going on. So y'all check us out at JackieO.com. And then we have Anar Gourmet Foods. Anar Gourmet Foods, she is in Pennsylvania. She's in Pennsylvania. She has gluten-free Indian seasoning kits. I have tried probably all of them except for 2. Y'all check her out at anargourmetfoods.com. You can also follow her on Instagram and Facebook at Anar Gourmet Foods. Shout out to Priya. She is absolutely amazing. She's just a sweetheart. So you will love her spices, her Indian spices. And if you are looking for some fashion jewelry, you need to check out Pretty Girl Fashion Accessories. Pretty Girl Fashion Accessories. Angela Hatnot Burrell is an independent paparazzi consultant. You can find her on Instagram at PGF Accessories, on Facebook at Pretty Girl Fashion Accessories, and her website is prettygirlfashionaccessories.com. Y'all, it's some really good jewelry, nickel and lead free. $5. And I think her shipping is only $5 to ship as well. Then we have Savvy, Dr. Cheri. She was one of our presenters, and she is an independent brand partner for Savvy. It is an active wear company. Kenya had some of that active wear on tonight as she was leading us through our guided meditation. It is super comfortable. You can run errands in it. You can probably sleep in it and wear it to work. Okay? So check out Savvy at savvy, SAVVI.com. We are savvy. Y'all, yes, we all need to be a little savvy, I think. Then we have Chick Ink. Chick Ink is a handmade alcohol ink homewares. She has paintings. She has coasters and trays. Y'all, I've never heard of that before. Alcohol ink homeware. So the ink is actually alcohol. So y'all should check her out. She's on Instagram at chick_ink, and her Etsy shop is Chick Ink Art. And that's Miss Sophie, Chick Ink. Check her out. Krista Griffin, she is an author and an entrepreneur of all things CG. She has a book that she just published, and it is about affirmations and self-love, self-care. You can find her on Instagram and Facebook at All Things SCG, and her website is allthingsscg.com. So there you have it. Those are our women entrepreneurs. Again, thank you all so much for being a part of Strengthening You Mind Body Advocacy Workshop. It was absolutely amazing. We will be putting all of our presenters' information in the comment sections so that you can follow up with them if you have questions. Follow them, share this video because it will bless someone. So until the next time, again, thank you so much, and we will see you soon. Bye-bye.